back to pickle peppers. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, how many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick? Or if if you could pick up if you could pick pickled peppers, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. These are my vocal warmer exercises. Excuse me, everybody out there. Last night, a little bit more of a celebratory mood with that game last night versus the Colts. The Bucs still lose; they go 0-3 in the preseason, but then we get back, and that's not just something that losing teams say when they lose or don't have success. It's the preseason. It's about getting rookies matchups, getting looks at people in situational football. No game plan. Love seeing that the first string. I wish I could do an intro. I'm gonna run with it anyway, but I won't. Saw Tom Brady get back. Saw Tom got back. His first catch to Julio Jones. Kate Otten gets involved, and I'm just sporadically naming names because again, one of the reasons why I was doing my Peter Piper pick the peck of pickled peppers vocal exercises is because it was like I said, it was a little bit celebratory last night. So we were watching the game, having a great time, but the brain's functioning a little slow today. So I could really appreciate your help. First, share the show so we can get a Sunday morning conversation going. And two, please comment on anything you saw last night, but players that you think may be on the bubble, anything, any ideas or anything you came away from the game last night with. I will tell you this, it's 2 weeks from today till that sad Sunday night game, that nationally televised opener against those Dallas Cowboys out there at AT&T Stadium. What I saw last night lets me feel comfortable knowing that now they're just going to get the team together. Still going to make those spots, still going to work on that practice squad, still going to see if players of ours. I still think there's going to be a wide receiver or two showing up on another team's roster. Just hope it's not in our division. Let me see if I actually have home. Yeah, I guess so. So you know what? Since it's opening like this, if you guys don't mind, haven't done this in a minute. Oh, do I have to change? Oh, I got to change the brand. I'm sorry. I haven't done this in a second. But yeah, down here, go ahead. Before I go to the opening, come down. I stopped in and saw Amy this morning, and I told her my hair of the dog situation. No, I'm not drinking. I actually got a nice cold Coke, but I told her how I've referred to her as the best bartendress or the best barmaster in all the Gulf beaches down here at Krabby's on the Pass. You can see them back of me, all the additions they did, all the work, the renovations, and all I can say is the football season 2022, if you want to take a little bit of mix of paradise and mix it in with watching your Buccaneers play football, whether it be a 1 o'clock game on a Sunday in November, October, or November, December, and you're down here watching the Dolphins swim through the pass, or you're down here getting ready to watch the 8 o'clock game and you're having the fantastic food they've got down here at Krabby's on the Pass, I would pose this should be your destination for Tampa Bay for football in 2022. Among them anyway. So anyway, I just want to welcome you all to a couple. I got one viewer in there. You know what? I was going to go to my opening. I will run that later, even though I get copyright infringements. I got to bring this guy in because I know he's on a limited schedule because he's got a show of his own to do today. And if you know I'm talking about a show, you know I'm talking about. Mr. Me Stores, me, you were there last night. Just give me your feelings. What you saw. I'm gonna go single screen. What your five biggest impression takeaways from last night's game there in Indianapolis?
All right, 5 biggest takeaways. The Bucs need offensive line depth. Gadecki didn't look great with the starters. He seems a little
out of his class yet, but
slow out of his stance and out of his weight category. He seems to be just out of class right now. Hopefully he matures quickly and can step in real well.
That's probably that speed of the game, right? As you move up to that professional level, and any player talks about it, how the speed of because you go from the best of the best to the best of the best, and now you're the best in the world. But go ahead, me. I totally saw that myself.
Yeah, they're lacking chemistry for one. Offensive line is big on chemistry. You got to be able to lean on the tackle, lean on the center to at least leading God, a young rookie, his first couple weeks of the season, and help him mature into hopefully a well-oiled, cohesive unit being right. The offensive line.
Hey, brother, how much? I mean, I've got to imagine they're in Lucas Oil Stadium. Is it still called Lucas Oil?
Or it is.
They changed? Okay, yeah. I got to imagine there were even some Colts fans there that know enough about football, and then the Buccaneers being Tom Brady, the greatest of all time, and what this team's trying to accomplish. When Hainsey goes down with that injury, I got to imagine not only every Buccaneer fan there, but probably a few Colt fans were like, "Oh, this is just bad luck."
You know what was awful was the Colts lost one of their starters opening kickoff.
I saw that.
Looked like he blew his ankle up pretty good, but surprisingly, in the area I was in, Colts fans were not sympathetic at all of injury. I have a lot of friends that are Colt fans. One of my good friends like I said, he was actually on the field. His son took that opening coin toss last night.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, it was very odd to see where there was no compassion from, especially in a preseason game. But yeah, there was no compassion at all after
Well,
Hainsey went down.
what was your thought? I mean, just quick reaction. You see
Yeah,
Hainsey down, and you realize he's not getting up immediately.
yeah. I told you I was gently buzzed going into the game, and
No instant sobriety. I'm glad
Hainsey got injured. I was instantly sober. It was
yeah.
what
Well,
do
you
they
guys,
do?
I got to give it to you. Y'all, the family looked like you had a great time yesterday. What I love seeing pictures you post just of anything you guys are doing, but football game, going to the third game, going to the Bucs at Colts, and then Tom Brady plays in that game. How about the Julio Jones reception? Didn't that just feel like, even though he was a comeback and he slid down, you just felt like, oh, shit's going to be happening right here. Didn't you feel that way? Pardon my language.
It actually looked like there was complete chemistry on that pass. It was
Yes.
kind of a late back shoulder throw, sort of. Brady threw it behind his receiver, so he could make the play on the ball. And you saw Julio; he knew where it was going to go. He hit the ground before the ball was even there. So it
That
was
was
great.
I
Great
call that like
chemistry on that pass.
I call that a backslide 50 backside slide catch, because he 100% knew that Tom would underthrow that pass on the read. He came back and makes that catch. Scotty Miller, did he not make this team last night? I know it's going to still come down to contributions and special teams. Darden didn't look too good on a return either, but do you think Scotty Miller, what's his 1 to 10, 1 being he's a Colt next week, or 10 being he's solid here? What would you put the Scotty Miller meter at?
I would put the Scotty Miller at 11. He being a Green Bay Packer next week.
I know that's what you said. I'm telling you what. Go ahead.
You can't drop a pass that hits you right in the face at the yardstick.
It was all in his head, and you know it. You know the kid's got the hands, and you know that was even what I like was it's because he's known for his speed. They weren't running just okay. We're going to run a go route, just do it. They may have ran the go routes, but they actually threw Scotty on not an underneath, but a short down, check down at the marker throw, and he was all in his head. Still, I saw Darden last night, and I'm looking at the other, and we suddenly were kind of. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'll let you finish.
No, I was going to say, it just seemed to me a little bit like I was kind of reminded that these rookie receivers are rookie receivers, and I don't know if I'm ready to ride with them on my 53 on a run for the championship. Sometimes that veteran, talking about Ryan Suckup and Jose Borgales, but go ahead, me.
I don't think Darden's the one that's keeping Miller off the team this year.
Right.
I really think it's going to be Nolan Turner, and I know that's a crazy thought, but Turner looks great on special teams.
Right.
He also gives us depth at free safety. He played well with the ones last night. Came up a lot into the box, made a lot of plays, forcing the ball inside, making some tackles. So I think if Scotty was going to make it on special teams, he doesn't have to beat out Darden because he's not going to beat out Darden. He's got to beat out Turner. I think Turner might have given the eye or gotten the edge. That's just me. I mean, J.C. Allen, like I said, like you say all the time, he has great knowledge of the Bucs and has good inside information. But I think Turner might keep Scotty out.
And I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm glad we went to here and we talked about this is because there comes that fine line where you know these kids got talent, the talent they have, and you understand the chemistry you've had with your team when you win a championship in 2020 as you get to the divisional playoffs in 2021. But then you also have to remember, you don't know how many more years you've got Jesus Christ under center here, pardon my on a Sunday, Tom Brady under center, or John the Baptist, I should say, or leader of men. And you also start to think about getting these young guys, even if they're on the practice squad, a nice full year when the bullets are real, because this is how you continue to build. This is how you continue to reload and not rebuild down the road. Know me?
I agree. Right. Speaking of bullets down the road, how did you feel seeing Kyle Trask on television last night? Because I can tell you how I felt seeing him in person.
I didn't see what you saw or as deep. I kind of did see some of that against the Dolphins, and then last week, a kid that was confused in the pocket. But please share me what you thought there at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Look, I'll start with this. When was the last time you saw a 6'6" or better quarterback get his ball batted down at the line of scrimmage?
That, and again, and it takes me back to the Miami game where he held the ball too long, tried to make a late read, and he's trying. I'm thinking, this guy's supposed to be 8'2". Why is he not getting the reads? It looks like he's confused in the pocket. I wonder how much of that, as I'm talking, I was trying to make sure I was sharing a show on my Facebook page because I may have one friend that may want to watch, but I'm sure they'll get it later. But I'm wondering to myself, he's had a full year in this system now, and I know he's playing with some second and third and fourth stringers at situational football, but he just doesn't look like the games come to him as fast as like a Jarrett Stidham or like a Jacoby Brissett or like a Jimmy Garoppolo behind Tom. And I keep using the Tom reference, but let's just use it. It applies in New England for all those years. You're wondering, is the SEC quarterback, the Gator quarterback, destined to become like Eric White had a post there? He said, Gator. What did he say? A Gator quarterback
has never won a Super Bowl. Never.
And he did that on your post. That's where I saw it. So I'll give props there. And it starts to make me think. Give me your impressions. Again, just other than that with Kyle Trask last night there with Lucas Oil.
Kyle Trask makes me think of Mike Glennon. He's athletic.
Oh, yeah.
He stands well in the pocket, but he takes so long to deliver the ball. He looks like a giraffe trying to throw a football. And that's just what it reminds me of is Mike Glennon.
I tell you why, and I'm glad you said that because it does remind me of that. But the difference being is Mike Glennon, coming out of college out of North Carolina State, was the leader in completion percentage when he comes into the league. And I'm getting a lot of feedback. Maybe that's me. Maybe that's Boat out here. Let me mute you for 1 sec. Oh, there you go. But Mike Glennon did the checkdowns and the quick reads, whereas a Kyle Trask coming from Florida under Dan Mullen is the kind of quarterback that takes longer to develop. And I don't know if that's the kind of the offense we're going to run in 2 years, 3 years from now. We want a long read quarterback in the pocket.
Yeah, no, he did have one great play to Kate Otten, but that was a half field read. You saw him read outside, come back inside, and hit the seam. It wasn't like they gave him a bunch of options on that play. He knew he had to read the half the field and make the decision. And great, that works awesome in college. That works well against vanilla defenses. But you're not going to get away with that in the NFL.
But I will pose you with this, though. If you go back to the Titans game last week, the Miami game in week 1, he threaded a needle that was like watching my 95-year-old great grandmother take a thick thread and go through the small needle of an eye, and he ran it right in that window. That was a great throw. He also makes the quick. So he has shown some bright greatness. Again, it's just I don't know how much of that, and I still love the kid. I just don't know how much that comes with the fact that when Clyde Christensen says he's going to hold a clipboard on the sideline, are they even just letting him in a quarterback? I know they're letting him in a quarterback's room, but I just wonder how much of that could still come to him because we still have another year for this kid to develop.
Do you trust another year? I mean,
I was ready to trust it this year if I had to. I didn't want to. I would have trusted. I was definitely trusting Kyle Trask before I wanted Deshaun Watson to come here, and that's just the true fact. That's why I went live that Sunday.
If the Bucs trusted Kyle Trask, you wouldn't have had all the rumors of Baker Mayfield, Jimmy Garoppolo, the massage therapist.
Ready now, though. Ready now. Give him another year. Here's the thing. We knew he wasn't good. They talked about him. And I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, me. I know you got to go because you're doing prep. Tell us about, so I don't forget to get you on the way out, your show coming up at 10 o'clock your time, 9 o'clock here Eastern time.
Yeah, we'll be circling the NFC. We dive into all things NFC. We talk a little trash. We have a little fun. Let the comments drive the show. I sometimes get long-winded talking about our Bucs, but it's basically it. Crew Roundtable, 9 a.m. Central, 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and I backed
on Facebook and YouTube.
I showed you. I'm turned around here at Gators or down here at the John's Pass. I'm turned around. I said it was 9 o'clock our time, 10 o'clock your time. It's like, wait, hold on a minute. Flip the script there. But going back, I got to say this. I felt comfortable. I've known Blaine Gabbert's played in this offense for 72 years now. The guy comes in, looks rock solid. And I like the point Rondé Barber made last night that we all kind of knew that with Tom being away for those 11, and we're going to get to Tom Brady last, so don't let me let you get out. I don't want you to get too short on time. But for all the days that Tom spends away, the 11 days, the truth is Blaine Gabbert was taking all those 1 reps. And now you've basically got a guy that's got 7 years in this offense. We already knew could run it. I'm telling you, I was ready to roll with Blaine when Jameis got injured in 2019. Honest to God, hand to God. And I know it sounds silly to say that, but Jameis was showing such inconsistency. Still wanted to give the kid a chance, but I knew that Blaine Gabbert, former number 1 overall pick by Jacksonville. Oh, I'm talking too fast, but I knew he had it. But how did he look last night there? How he was running that offense in the stadium there, me.
Blaine Gabbert looked efficient when they let him pass. They started off the drive, 2 of his drives with 3 straight running plays deep in the own end just to give him room. But when you let Blaine come in and make decisions and actually work the field, he played real well. I think he was like 5 of 7 for like 50 yards, maybe 45, 50 yards.
He commanded it, though. Hey, do me a favor, me. Again, I know we're running up against time with you. Whenever you got to get out of here, don't even tell me. If you're in the middle of something, just blip out. Just call it Casper. But I'm going to
You're good. I got about 7 minutes.
Good. I want to bring JC Allen from Pewter Report into this stream because I'm sure you were there. JC, me was there in Indianapolis. Me, tell JC what you saw. Tell us. Continue to say what you saw.
like I was saying, Keyshawn Vaughn looked great with the threes and twos. He averaged like I think close to 4.5, 5 yards a carry. Rashad White didn't look as good.
Right.
Kind of
I'll tell you
looked
what though.
suspect.
Me. In fact, the four of us just did this Friday night. Keyshawn Vaughn made that let everybody know, didn't he? JC Allen of Pewter Report, thanks for coming in here. That Keyshawn Vaughn last night felt like almost, even though he's had one or two before, a little coming out party for the third-year running back from Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I think Keyshawn Vaughn easily solidified his spot, and we were having this conversation about potentially Giovanni Bernard's spot on this roster, and I think what you saw from Keyshawn Vaughn, and even though Rashad White didn't put up the numbers and didn't do as much as he did last week, I think if they want to go with three running backs to start this season, I feel like the performances of both of those guys throughout the preseason have really solidified that that's an option that they can take and just run with three running backs and maybe put someone on the practice squad.
Plus, so, JC, the way I looked at it, and me and Harry, you guys both agree, we'll go around the horn, that we know that this Buccaneers, not this vanilla no scheme offense, but when the no risk it, no biscuits actually flowing, you're going to have so many downhill and crossing receivers. You're going to open the underneath more for Rashad White, who everybody kind of knew. Okay, 31% of the receptions at Arizona State last year. We know what you're going to try and do this game, and they come up and met him. I'll give it to the kid. He took it strong and got right back up and looked pretty solid.
Yeah, they didn't want to put him out there too much, which tells you, what they think of him. They only gave him 10 snaps in the game, so they weren't going to expose him to injury. Leonard Fournette only got 11, and I believe Keyshawn Vaughn only got 15. So, you could really kind of tell that they were trying to conserve him and not let anything happen to him. He's going to be a big part of the offense going forward. So, yeah, Keyshawn Vaughn had 15, and he only had 10. So.
Let me ask you, because I don't know where you were sitting. It looked like you were maybe near the sideline. Silly thing, splitting hairs. When Jalen Darden gives himself up and runs out of bounds at like the 20, 21-yard, 19-yard line, did it kind of feel like we're just doing it too safe, or would you have liked to have seen that kid dig it in a little more, try to find another lane?
That was a business decision. I mean, he took a lick earlier in the game.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. That's true.
And,
I forgot about that.
And when you get hit like that and you're making that kind of money, even if it's league minimum, you see your bank account dwindling into regular hours, working that 9 to 5. So definitely was okay with that.
If it was a regular season game, I want to see him go for more. I want to see him try to fight for those extra yards. We saw all too often last year him doing just that, getting out of bounds, avoiding the hit. And again, he's a smaller stature guy. You don't want to, you don't want to ruin your bank account, as me was saying, and find yourself out of the league. But you got to be able to fight for those extra yards. And when regular season time comes around, he needs to prove that. Of course, it's preseason. You don't want anyone getting injured. Don't even take the risk. But regular season 100%. Comes around, there's a lot. Because I think Darden solidified himself as the number 6 wide receiver 100%, on this roster.
100%.
And I think that, you hear the echoes, you hear the noise about how he's soft and how he's scared to make contact, and you need to see that once the regular season comes around, or else
let me ask
a new returner real quick.
Let me ask this, Harry the Greek coming in here. We had this foursome recently, guys, didn't we? Harry, you played against Ahmad Rashad here in Tarpon Springs back in 1936. You played high school football. I'm kidding. You know what it's like to take a hit. But tell me, what did you see as you were traveling back from the Dominican Republic, and what you may have seen or heard, or when you got home you saw of the Buccaneers last night?
I see it was preseason. First off, good morning, Ray. Before you get too started, I can't find this on your page for some reason, and I'm trying to share this.
See, I was hoping it would be on my page, but I will definitely get it on there. But
it's not. Hey guys, good morning. And by the way, really good call, Joshua, with Keyshawn Vaughn. Yeah, he's definitely really stepping it up. He's playing a lot better, and he probably has solidified himself as a position on this team. Hey, it's all the best for him. I'd rather see him, to be honest with you, make it than I would have Giovanni Bernard, just for the mere fact of, being a lot younger. But And he's going to get paid too. I mean, he's going to go through his rookie deal. He's going to make a few bucks, but is he like the bona fide starter on this team? No, we obviously know who that's going to.
Hey Harry, I
yeah.
gotta cut you off. Only because I don't know. It's Sunday morning. I'll probably stay down. I'm gonna take my shirt off here in a little while, put some copper tone on. I'm here all day, but I don't know how long I got everybody. And it just so happens the four of us were all in conversation on Friday night when we talked about Breza, the punter from Buffalo, of course, involved in that gang, accused of being involved in that gang rank back. That's easy for me not to say. And then the Bills cut him yesterday. Go around the horn with you, Harry, first. They cut Breza. Is there a chance that this kid proves himself innocent, still gets back? And do you think he comes back to the Bills, or will it be open market for a free agent?
I think the Buffalo Bills did their due diligence, and they have enough evidence for this guy not to be there. And then that's what real sports organizations do. And no, I am not a Buffalo Bill fan, but soon becoming one, because they're actually taking the initiative in their own hand. They're not letting this kid play, especially with an allegation like that. Does it mean he's guilty? No, we have a court process. But I think by them letting him go is making a statement saying, yeah, we know enough that it's just not worth it to go ahead and tarnish our brand.
Hey, Harry, I got to get. No, I agree 100%. Me, I know you got to get out of here because you're doing show prep for your kick-ass show that's coming on. Make sure you share it on my page today. But your thoughts with the Buffalo cutting? Obviously, they make the right decision, and you even if the kid does prove out guilty, as his attorney says, you're thinking if you're Buffalo, you're Bills Mafia. You're like, we don't want these kind of distractions right now. A punter is a punter, even though this Breza kid is actually pretty good.
Yeah, he's a punter. That's what it comes down to. He's not a quarterback. he's not an every down player. If he's a quarterback, you might wait and see what happens, but you're not going to be a Super Bowl contender with a punter that's distracting your locker room. It's not going to happen.
Unless, of course, Joshua Cole or J.C. Allen, whatever, my buddy. Unless, of course, you're the Buccaneers, because let me tell you something. Jake Camarda is the man. I love this kid. I love to go back and his show was 40 last night. He's got the hair. He's flowing. And I'm telling you what, this kid is, and I love it that they pointed on and you've seen this, JC, and Camp, please tell me, they pointed on the broadcast last night that this kid is a football athlete first, and he happens to be a phenomenal punter.
Yeah, just my final thoughts on the Areza thing. I think.
Oh, sorry, that's right. I passed you, bro.
No, it's all right. I think obviously it was a good move for the Bills, right? You move on from him, but to be honest with you, I'm still disappointed in the move because this is still a reactive league. This is still not an action league. It's a reactive league.
Yes.
With this story coming out, especially from Los Angeles Times or what it was, any respected journalist is going to reach out to Matt Areza. They're going to reach out to the Buffalo Bills organization, and they're going to ask for a comment. They're going to say, would you like to comment on this? We saw it in the Manti Te'o documentary. That's just how things go. And that's how things go in media. The fact that, first of all, neither one of those had a comment in that article when it came out. It's not like they were blindsided by this. They knew it was coming out. They knew the story was coming out. They knew
December,
it was
right?
going to be a big deal. And instead of making an active decision before this hit the newsstands, they waited until afterwards, saw what the reaction was, and again,
reacted.
The NFL waited and reacted. And that's
JC,
one of the things that is going to be associated with the league, with the Deshaun Watson, with everything else. Reactive,
hey guys,
not active.
This Sunday morning show right here, and I know me, just blip out when you got to go, bro. I know you do, but I love you, bro. If nothing else, this show may come down to this entire – we'll talk some Bucs. We'll talk about Brady. Love the presser after the game, but it may come down to this conference. In light of the Deshaun Watson case and what we just went through with 26 or 48 or 72 months of that, and something like a Matt Breza, the punter, he was a phenomenal punter, and I kind of tend to believe this – I always want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but because of the two are so contrasting and the NFL is so about image – that First Amendment, in this case, the First Amendment held out, and Deshaun basically hung out for 2 years and got paid. In this one, they haven't even given that kid a chance to be innocent until proven guilty, and they've cut him. But I also pose that when he's proven innocent, if he is innocent, there's going to be a 32-team – now, because we got Jake Camarda, there's going to be some teams vying for him to go in there, and it might even be a feel-good story.
I mean, I'm not sure about that, though, because
really,
this is a guy who got passed up on by multiple teams and finally got taken in the 6th round. It's not like, you have two punters taken in the 4th round. He was taken in the 6th. And as good as Hunt God's leg is, he still has a lot to work on with everything else. Yeah, he can boom it, but his placement, his able to pin opponents inside the 20 hasn't been the best throughout his career. And I think that's why And even
Yeah.
more so, I don't know the due
Maybe
diligence
that's
that
why
the
he was
Bucs did.
drafted in the 6th round. Maybe
Right.
some teams knew about this already ahead of time, and Buffalo's like, you know what? We'll swing for the fences here in the 6th round pick for a punter.
You like my
For a
kick?
punter.
It's as high as it goes. Wait, I can get it higher.
Before I get out of here, I'll just leave you
Me.
with this. How long did it take for someone to really pick up on Michael Vick, who's a quarterback, phenomenal talent, touched the ball on every play? He was dealing with dogs. You're talking about a 17-year-old girl. Most of the people that watch this sport have children.
Yes.
Most of the people that watch the NFL, I think it's like 65%, maybe 63% are male. Most of them are fathers. Then you got the other 35 that are female. One, you're already going to lose them and their mothers and their dog. I mean, it's no one's going to.
Hey, me, I know you got to get out of here. Tell us again the show where we can find it real quick before we get you out of here.
We'll be on in about a half hour. Crew NFC Roundtable. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Snapchat, Twitter, anything you have social media, we're on there. So anyway, please join us and great show. I'll talk to you guys later.
Thank you, brother.
See you, man.
Hey, JC, so tell me, please, media, Pewter Report, you're locking it down. You're talking about that 53 tomorrow. I can't wait now. You sold it on Friday night, and what's the title? The 53 or the Bucs 53 or what?
Yeah, it'll be something like that. Final 50.
No, you're fine. Let me give
53 prediction. Actually, it'll actually be out today. So
thank you.
Doing my honey-do list, right now.
Yes.
And,
is it? No. And are you calling me your honey?
Oh, No,
so before, hey, I know you guys can't stay. It's Sunday. Oh, go ahead. I want to know more of your impressions.
I was going to say we'll have it out, and there's going to be a few surprises I think on there. But one thing is for sure, I think Ryan Suckup has probably won this kicking job after last night.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I didn't feel it was just even the 55-yard miss, even though it was wide right, and Bills fans can feel for that. Whatever, screw this Bills fans. But I just kind of felt like at the end of the day, God, wouldn't it just be the most terrible thing? You go into week 1 in Dallas, and it's just starting a game off. You go down 70 yards, you're on this one, and you go to chip shot, and the kid Borgalis, he's going to be a good kicker. He's a great kicker. He misses that first field goal. Now all of a sudden you've got 10 years of snake bit coming back, and it just feels like it gets you right in the rear.
Yeah, I just think, last week kind of really hit it home with that 52-yarder from Suckup outdoors for Borgalis to miss a 52-yarder inside. Yes. He had a chance to be hit that, and maybe if there was more opportunities for him and he impressed or maybe a game winner and he rebounded maybe, but there wasn't that and he missed the field goal. And you gotta roll with the rock that
JC, you skirted the question. Jake Camarda, you're there in camp. You see this kid. I saw him warming up. He just run. He's not over. He's not show. I mean, he's not coming across as stuck up or conceited, but he is all about business and about warming up. This athlete, this kid, and it's a punter. I know, and like me was talking about with the Bills and Areza, but this kid's a gamer. Has that come across in camp?
Oh yeah, to the point where they're practicing fake field goal stuff. Where.
He's got an arm?
Big punt stuff where he's, either running with the ball or throwing the ball. He was a former high school quarterback, so
I did not know that.
A little bit of that there. But I think Camarda, there's been some up and down reviews on him throughout the preseason. But I think last night, listening to Tom Bowles in that press conference, put that all to bed because they've been asking him to outkick his coverage for simple reasons of wanting to get a look at the gunner. So that was one thing. The guy's booting it 60 yards down the field, but he's not giving his guys a chance to get down there to make a play on it, and that was by design. And Todd Bowles saying that reassured any situation. They said that they'll be game planning certain things in the punt game, so that kind of makes everything seem like okay.
Hey, but you're not
react for this on this side.
Let's be honest though here. I think Harry, you'd agree that we're not just giving that coverage team a pass on this. He's out kicking them, and they're doing situations. We know that Camarda's got a leg, but there's been some very poor tackling in these 3 weeks in preseason. And if that don't get correct, because in the regular season, you're going to start having teams run a CeeDee Lamb at you on special teams or run an Ezekiel Elliott because he's splitting the backfield. And this special teams unit's going to have to be solid. And I'm not saying they've been the worst, but there have been some breakdowns.
Yep, there has been. But then again, I'm going to say 3 words.
Preseason.
Preseason.
Oh, it's pre. No, that preseason
is preseason right now. But if we want to talk about Justin Fields' 3 touchdown performance last night, it will go quickly.
He's the best. He's a Hall of
See?
Famer now,
See?
JC. He's a Hall of Famer. Chicago's won the Super Bowl. Are you guys stop it, please? Just
But
quit it.
Harry, JC opened the door for a conversation you and I had sitting by your pool this morning. Talk about the hit Fields takes last night, or one last week didn't even get a flag, and talk about what we talked about, the fact that these quarterbacks that Trey Lance, Justin Fields, they're it takes you, and we remember with Cam Newton, and at the time you're a Bucs fan, you're going, oh yeah, they hit him, and you're like going, wow, he kind of giving himself up a little bit, maybe, but we're seeing that. Is the NFL going to penalize all these quarterbacks because they want to keep it in the pocket passing?
You know what? That's a great question. That's something that I think I have my own opinion, but I'd love Joshua Cole Allen's opinion on that. But Josh, you know what was really odd is I did watch a couple of the preseason games, like with one eye open and the other one not open, you know, just from an analytical standpoint to see what that player's looking like and then who they're playing against. Yes. Justin Fields threw 3 touchdowns on a $150 passing. He looked good moving out of the pocket. But it's twice now in 2 weeks that young man has taken a really big hit that was unnecessary, and he's completely giving it up, sliding. And at the very end, here comes a linebacker trying to take his helmet off through his ear hole. Last week, it didn't get called.
Jalen Hurts last week, we all saw that hit against the Jets. But go ahead, Harry.
Last week, it wasn't as egregious as that Jalen Hurts hit.
Well, he was out of bounds for 5 minutes sipping on a Mai Tai.
You know, I mean, it was last week. It didn't get called. This week, it took literally 30 seconds after getting nailed, going to the ground, for the tissue paper to come out. JCA, why is that happening around the National Football League? Does Ray have a valid point? I'd love to hear yours.
I'm not sure. I mean, it is preseason, so calls are usually a little bit. They're not calling the game as tight.
But JC, I gotta stop you, JC. I'm gonna stop you right there though, because you're right, 100%. I'm not gonna question you, but I'm saying is that we also see.
I'm not the.
Well, when there's new rules being implemented, or especially continuing to try to make chronic traumatic encephalopathy a protection of these quarterbacks, and you've got
that.
I've studied it. You didn't know it? I did. I'm not a brain surgeon, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn last night. But as we continue to work on,
and I saved a bunch of money in my car insurance by switching to Geico. Go for it. Ray.
Let me pose it. I'm gonna reverse the question back to him, Harry, because you and I talked about this. Is this also going back towards the fact that in years past or last couple of years we've complained about this being a quarterback pansied league? The quarterback is way too protected. If you snort on him, even though Tom takes the helmet to the chin last season, so is this kind of maybe a counter to that argument? Or where do you fall on that scale?
I don't think so. I think it's just preseason. I mean, the amount of I'm literally rewatching the game, and I'm watching a hold right now as we speak. So, like, I just think they call it a lot looser in the preseason. Now, obviously, there should be an onus against protecting quarterbacks and hits like that. There's no place for it in the NFL. But you know, I don't know. I'm gonna borrow Harry's 3 words. It's preseason, and yes. I don't know what it's going to look like come regular season.
Guys, quick question. I've had this thing since Friday night. I worked on it, and actually, it's not here. Of the quarterbacks I'm going to go off the top.
Hey, they sell that remedy at Walgreens, right? It's aisle 4.
Actually, no, they don't. I got a medical card, and they sell that remedy right down the street here at the dispensary. But of all the quarterbacks, real quick, just a bonus question, guys. Before JC, I know you need that family time, so let me know when you got to flip or just Casper.
Yeah, I got to get out of here after this segment.
Well, quick question. All the quarterbacks in the league that have switched teams, does Mitch Trubisky get to start in Pittsburgh? You got, of course, you've got Russell Wilson in Denver, yada, yada. All the quarterbacks that switch teams, Carson Wentz to the Commanders or Matt Ryan to those Colts we saw last night, which is going to have the most team success in 2022 and the most individual success in 2022? And the two don't necessarily have to be the same. Quick.
I mean, Russ is going to cook, right?
Oh, so, yeah, he is.
It's a tough division, but I think he's going to be able to put up his numbers and get his stats up there.
It's a tough question because you got to think of, they're also Denver's one of the teams that is posed to have team success too. So, but Cleveland Browns, Jacoby Brissett. If the Browns are 9-1 if the Browns inspire that defense plays, Chubb's running the ball out of the building, Harry, and they get to week 11, the Browns are 9-1, and the feel good story is they're throwing dog bones at Jacoby Brissett. There's no way they can put Deshaun Watson in at that point, right?
They have to. They got
they pay too much money.
You got 250 million reasons why. It's going to be the most.
I'm hoping for.
There's going to be more action laid on proposition bets. The game that Deshaun. I didn't rape any girls or have
Harry.
sexual things.
Harry,
Lots
it's
of
a Sunday morning show, and you said late. Josh, before I get you out of here,
Yeah.
what?
So to finish up the question, I think Russ will probably have the best statistical season, but I think Matt Ryan with the Colts has a really good opportunity to put them in a position where they're making some noise in the playoffs.
Well, I'll tell you this though.
I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. I don't. I just think the Colts have a really good shot at winning that division this year, especially with Ryan at the helm. Finally, a competent quarterback. And
yes.
They're my sleeper team, by the way,
Guys,
JCA.
I found my list, by the way, real quick. Marcus Mariota and the Falcons. Whatever. You got to go against Tampa Bay twice. But what about what about a Baker Mayfield to the Carolina Panthers? I mean, of course, as Bucs fans and NFC South rivals, we don't want that to be a sweet December story where Baker goes in, he's running around the field, and the Heisman Trophy winner, #1 overall, suddenly regains his mojo. But that's
the Panthers had one of the best defenses in the league last season.
That's what scares me.
They got a big blow with Derek Brown. It looks like it's only going to be an oblique injury, so we'll have to monitor that. But I think, if you look at if Baker can be competent, Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy. I'm not going to say they're going to make some noise, but they have obviously offensive line issues, but they have some serious weapons on that team as well. I mean, DJ Moore is one of the most underrated players. Christian McCaffrey, they've got a good cast of wide receivers around him as well. So they're going to live or die by Baker, but they're also going to make some noise. I wouldn't say a run, but make some noise and potentially be that second best team in the NFC South.
I think it depends also as much as it does on Baker. It all rests on Christian McCaffrey being healthy. Everybody in everybody's fantasy, at least one person in everybody's fantasy football team in the world relies on Christian McCaffrey remaining healthy.
Hold on,
that big left tackle they drafted, because that's going to be part of the fortification of that line. But Baker's a roller. Go ahead, Perry.
Do you honestly think that Carolina has the capabilities of overtaking crab leg Jameis and the New Orleans Saints?
Oh, God, they look good, don't they? The Saints look good here at the end.
That team looks really scary.
Hey, Josh, they did. They've looked. The Saints have been quietly. Dennis Allen's been quietly making a team down there.
They're going to have a good defense. We know that. They're going to, again, just like good solid weapons around them, good running back, decent offensive line. They're dealing with some injuries and some losses on the offensive line. Good defense. We know that. Again, the NFC South teams, minus the Falcons, because they are just the Falcons. But
but Drake London and Kyle Pitts are going to be. But yeah,
the Saints and the Panthers are going to live or die by the quarterback. Good surrounding cast of weapons, good defense, shaky offensive line. If the quarterback play is good by either one of those, they're in a down NFC where they saw a lot. They saw a bunch of quarterbacks leave. They saw a bunch of playmakers leave at wide receiver and other positions leave the division and kind of open it up a little bit.
Yeah,
I think both of those teams could be competing for a wild card spot.
Now, JC, I'm a writer like you. Of course, you've already sold it. It's coming out today. You got an article coming out on Pewter Report. Give me one. Can you give me, because I'm a writer, you've already got them in your head. You haven't maybe got them all in place unless you've already written it already ahead of time, in which case, namaste. But
Grant Stewart will not be on the Bucs 53 roster.
Oh, that's pretty big. That's pretty. That's good. That's all I needed. That's all I needed, brother Harry.
I want one more. Come on, bro.
Hey, Harry. No, I'm gonna keep you. No,
give me another one.
Give me another one, JC. He's going to make a bet is what he's going to make.
Giovanni Bernard will not be on the 53-man roster.
There you go.
I gave you that love yesterday on St. Pete Radio, of course, Sports Connection down at the Ferg's, world famous Ferg's Sports Bar and Grill on Central Avenue, just below 16th Street in the edge district of St. Petersburg. Had to throw it in there. I'm paid to do it, but I threw it in there. You called that. Why don't the Bucs? Why wouldn't you move a Gio Bernard, especially the injuries and he's had? Move him to that practice squad, and if one of the other 31 want to pick him up, you're like, oh, well, okay, brother.
Right. Still with injury, who knows how long it's going to take? He's been sidelined for 2 games now. If it's going to be a lingering thing, you know what? We'll put you on the practice squad, or we'll bring you back when you're healthy.
Hey,
because you got to remember, he faced some injury history last season.
Yeah, and even in Cincinnati,
veterans who are on the roster for week 1, if they get injured, their salaries are guaranteed for the year.
JC, let me ask you this though:
if you cut him and bring him back after week 1, then you're not at risk of having to pay him a full year's salary.
JC, I pose this to you possibly too, not out of disrespect for Giovanni Bernard. I can't say it like Stephen Fish. There it is. Out of no disrespect to Gio, but I got to say that maybe even because of this team and the talent and what they're trying to keep for the depth at all the positions, as you get down to 53 with that 16-man practice squad, is maybe you cut Gio and you let him be a Ryan Griffin. You're like, hey, you want to walk the sidelines in some cool khakis, and you're still here, but officially you're not. We'll figure out something, but that might be something as well. And if not, then maybe
and his career is coming to an end. And if he wants to get in coaching, we've seen, the Bucs are a team that's going to facilitate that for their players. So
it won't be Bernard coaching. It'll be that mustache.
Right.
That face.
I gotta run.
No, I was going to say that's why I want to get you out here. Pewter Report, JC Allen. The article will be out today. Share it to my Facebook page, please, brother.
I'll try to I'll send it to you regardless, and you can share it around if you need to.
Appreciate you, brothers. JC Allen, Pewter Report. Harry, God. So it's just the two of us. And I got us an oceanside room. I got room service on the way. The paper, I left it outside so you can't make any bets. So we're gonna get this party started. For a minute there, I was going in a weird direction there.
I know.
Other impressions of preseason that you saw, because of course not all of us got to spend the week down in the Dominican Republic, but you still had your eyes. I know Harry the Greek had his eyes on some things.
Oh yeah. I actually did a lot of handicapping when I was down there too. I was playing some horses, coming off a big day of racing from Saratoga with the Travers yesterday. It was really, really good. It just had a lot of fun. But as far as the preseason's concerned, that's exactly what it is, Ray. It's preseason. The Bears are 3-0. They're probably going to start out 0-3. Okay. I mean, it's just the nature of things. I mean, they're playing. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, can I just go ahead and do a shout out, or I should say a shout out to Washington Commanders, who became total bitches last night when they don't even try to beat the Ravens. Are 22-0 in preseason, going back to like 1872. It's 17-15 late. There's like 4 minutes. Ron Rivera's not calling timeouts. He's not trying. And, there's probably a school of thought on every side that says, let the guys just do their thing or see if it happens organically. I wanted to see somebody try to beat those Ravens, who are now undefeated for how many seasons in the preseason. It doesn't mean nothing, but it's something.
That is something to be said. I mean, you're going to trip up and fall, especially in the preseason. But, going back to the quarterback play and what quarterbacks you think could really have an outstanding season, the ones that were traded to different teams, other than a Russell Wilson. By the way,
well, let's go over the list.
I hate you go over the list one by one. And
actually, we already named the list except for.
Go ahead. Start out with Denver.
Well, let's start out with, we got Russell Wilson goes to Denver. You got.
I don't think that they have a winning season this year.
Oh, come on! You don't think that Josh McDaniel can go in there? No, it's Nathaniel Hackett, the former offensive coordinator from the Green Bay Packers. They got Judy. I don't think I heard he was injured. Mile High. Don't they go back and say any team? Remember that he used to say back in the 70s that you go play Mile High and you're all out of breath. It's like
everybody said that everybody passed in that division the Kansas City Chiefs. They still are the team to beat. Okay, it's just like when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the Super Bowl.
Andy Reid's the team to beat, but yeah.
When the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl, who was the team to beat next year? The Bucs.
The Bucs.
Okay, and until you knock that team off its mountain, I still have to give a lot of credit. And I know that people are going to say, well, they lost Tyreek Hill. They lost this. They lost that. This team is pretty damn good. Hey, Misador.
Oh, me? Are you supposed to be here? Or is this, I just saw it. I'm like, ooh, it's like.
We had some technical difficulties this week, so we're not going to be able to do the show.
Stick around. My boy, Me was there last night. Again, Me, tell us about the trip. How long did it take you to get up to the Lucas Can Oil Stadium?
Oh, it was only about a 2.5-hour trip. Usually is around 2 hours, 15 minutes, but so much traffic due to construction is the only reason it took so long.
Me, we're talking about quarterbacks that switch teams this offseason, and one of the ones that goes right near and dear to Harry the Greek's heart, of course, being the Chicago guy that he is, but Mitch Trubisky. And you hear about, Pickett right on his heel, and then, I don't know, Mason Rudolph. Is that guy even a quarterback? But Trubisky starts the season. Do you think with Mike Tomlin and that defense and they run, and you got a Najee Harris, that Mitch Trubisky could be a quarterback making some waves in 2022?
I honestly think Mitch Trubisky was a quarterback that could have done some things in Chicago. Offense.
I thought so too. Yeah.
I would take Trubisky in a heartbeat. If next year Trubisky is a free agent, like we were talking earlier, and the Bucs are in a situation without Brady, I would not be opposed to picking up Trubisky, not because he's a great talent, but he'll fit the system.
He
Either
fits
that or
the
you.
system because he runs. He knows how to run the RPO. He fits with defensive-minded with a defensive-minded team, and he also can pass the ball when given time, just like any other quarterback. But you know what I was saying, Mike? You might disagree with this. I said Russell Wilson, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, Russell with the weapons." They finished last in that division. They may not even finish. I think they're going to be below 500. That's just my opinion.
Mike, he breaks
Okay.
film down,
That
but
that
what?
that entire division has gotten a lot better, and everybody's already discounting what Kansas City's going to do. It's just like when Tampa won the Super Bowl. The team to beat that year were who? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right.
Until you knock them off their pedestal, Kansas City hasn't been knocked down yet. Midway
This is
through
the year.
the season, midway
This
through
is the year.
yeah, we said that last year. Midway through the season, last year they're done, they're cooked. You heard it me saying it on my show, and all of a sudden they started playing defense, and then Mahomes started playing again. Look, I am not a Kansas City fan, but I got to give credit where credit's due. We have unproven teams out there, the Chargers, the Broncos, who have been putrid. The Raiders looked really good last year, but who's going to emerge from that division? I don't see that big of a decline for Kansas City, and there's way too many. It's too strong a division to really predict. But my dark horse, by the way, I think the one that's going to have the best season, not statistically, but record-wise, will be between the Indianapolis Colts and Matt Ryan and Mitch Trubisky of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think those two quarterbacks have been set up extremely well.
Hey, Harry, Mike, hold on. Let me ask you this, though, because if my head, the way it works, I won't remember it. I'm surprised I remembered it already. Talking about Mitch Trubisky, and you said, Harry, he's running a quarterback, a defensive-minded kind of a quarterback with an arm. Doesn't that sound like Josh Allen? I mean, really, without maybe a couple of inches? Me?
Oh, yeah, Josh Allen, phenomenal talent. But
Sounds like it. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I'm not comparing Mitch Trubisky to what Josh Allen is doing in Buffalo. I'm saying run outside the pocket, can run when has to, as opposed to a Kyle Trask who seems to have cement around his feet. I'm kidding, but can run around. And Mitch Trubisky is a defensive. He was a Chicago kind of guy. He seemed like he was a defensive, want to go in there, almost like a Vince McMahon and just Vince McMahon, Jim McMahon. Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon.
And try to win that game. But so maybe, I don't know. And look at the other quarterbacks. Go ahead. Any other quarterbacks you guys got? What were you saying, Mike? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying I think Trubisky would do well in an offense that has a good defense and a good ground game. And Pittsburgh hasn't had a losing season since Tomlin took over. And then you got to put into consideration that Mitch Trubisky has never thrown a pick six in the NFL.
Never, ever. A lot of people don't know that.
So you got a quarterback that's protecting the ball with a defense that can keep the opposition out of the end zone. You got a running game that can eat the clock. All you're going to have to do is score 17 points a game, and you are in control.
You want to hear my dark horse? You want to hear my dark horse, guys? You're going to love this.
Don't you dare say Geno Smith.
He's not. Is he starting? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's starting.
Drew Lock's never. My dark horse. You ready for this? This is going to blow your guys. I'm on a Sunday morning down here at Krabby's on the Pass. This is going to be that meme moment for my show. Please share the show. Everybody's so afraid to share. I was talking about it with Harry the Greek this morning. It's not like I'm asking you to give me your social security number. Just share the show so we can build this thing. My dark horse, Andy Dalton in New Orleans. And Jameis Winston doesn't go down or doesn't come back as healthy. And you put that Dennis Allen defense, which is the best part of the New Orleans Saints, and Andy Dalton runs a conservative offense with Alvin Kamara. Not individual success, but team success. Maybe?
I don't see why you can't say team success. Everyone's overlooking the Saints, and
no, I mean team success. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? If Jameis Winston has a season like he started to last year, he's comeback player of the year. The Saints are number one in the NFC South, and the Bucs are barely making the playoffs as a wild card team.
The Buccaneers are 3 injuries away from not winning this division.
Jesus, you had to ruin my Sunday morning. I haven't even had breakfast.
I'm just being honest.
I would agree with that. I mean,
I'm just being honest.
I would go even further and say they're 1 injury away.
Well, yeah, that's true.
You lose.
Tristan Wirfs, don't say it.
I'm not going to say.
He's talking about TB12.
I'm not going to say his name, but it brings it back full circle to where we started this conversation. Kyle Trask would be your quarterback of the future, and I mean, really,
a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people don't know this, that a quarterback from the University of Florida has never won a Super Bowl. Okay, number one.
Wait, we're talking about
There have been one or two quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken. I know for a fact that my boy Rex Grossman took the Bears to the Super Bowl that year. They didn't win it, could have, and I don't remember if there's any other Florida quarterbacks that have ever made it to a Super Bowl. Kyle Trask.
Go ahead.
Did Grossman what?
Take them to the Super Bowl, or was he hitched onto the trailer like Dilfer along for the ride?
Well, you know what? That's a very fair statement. But people don't realize the first 5 games that they played that year. Okay, he was leading the National Football League in passing yards, touchdowns, least amount of interceptions. He had a QB rating was out the roof.
But Harry,
then he had that really bad game against Arizona. Okay. He had a couple of bad games in between there. He had a little bit of an up and down roller coaster type of season. We've got to remember, guys, they didn't have wide receivers that were, loaded up on that part of the line. But there's one thing I can honestly tell you about Sexy Rexy is that boy had heart. He could throw 5 or 6 interceptions and still come out there and still try to sling the ball all over the field. But then again, he had heart. He never wanted to crawl in his shell. But the point I was trying to make,
Harry, I love you, brother. But every Chicago quarterback's had a heart. That's all I get from you.
Yeah. But anyway, with Kyle Trask,
Bear fan,
you gotta, you know what? They're not. That offensive line is not built for a Kyle Trask.
But I gotta finish.
I understand they're two the same type of quarterbacks because they're not mobile. The difference between Kyle Trask and Tom Brady is the obvious, all the Super Bowl rings and all the experience, is that Kyle Trask, I've noticed, doesn't have the backside presence yet to be able to take that one step forward in the pocket to elude that rush.
But it doesn't have the clock. Doesn't have the clock yet.
It's not even the clock. It's that presence. It's hearing.
Pocket awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, me. And some quarterbacks just don't get it, and they never will. Going back to the Chicago thing, like with Justin Fields last year, if you noticed, he has a really long hitch in his delivery. This year, that's gone. I haven't seen that hitch at all.
Hey, let me tell you this, me.
So if they could take this out of Justin Fields, you can.
I muted him. He's making great points, but I want to ask you because you were there last night, and I want to know, Harry, I unmuted you. You're going to be good?
I didn't know I was bad, but go ahead.
I was just messing with you. All I know is that when I went to the Miami Dolphins game and I sat down, I went down right on the wall behind the Bucs bench, and Harry, you and I talked about this. I looked over and I saw Bruce Arians sitting there surveying the field, and then Jason Light was right next to him, and I was like, I love that because that felt like the straw hat in the golf cart over at the Advent Health Training Facility. One Buccaneer place, but I like the fact that Bruce Arians, other than being in the front office with this team, he's working with Kyle Trask. He's developing Kyle Trask along with Byron Leftwich. And here's what I pose: when you get to the college level and you put Kyle Pitts and Kadarius Toney into the first round, I'm not going to Daniel. What I'm saying is that I really believe I'm willing to see that experiment out. I just haven't seen enough sample size yet to make me go, I'm great with this. There's no team out there you could put Kyle Trask. He's a second rounder. You could probably slide him to the practice squad, and somebody will pick him up. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I was just ranting there, but
I can counter you. I'll give you a counterpoint here.
How about last night? Did you see Bruce Arians on the sideline last night there?
Yeah, Bruce was there, but I think he's more of just a showpiece right now. He's working with Trask in practice, and it's like buying a car, buying a used car. It's not old now; it's like a year old. So you're washing it daily, you're waxing it, polishing it up. It looks great on the outside. Let's go drag that thing down the strip. You're not going to just race that car off the block without testing it, right?
Yeah,
that's what you're asking them to do with Trask. You're going into the third year of his rookie deal. And Trask has not proven that he can perform when it matters. He hasn't even proven he can perform in preseason. He's not going to get the required snaps to learn how to read a field, to establish his pocket presence, to build that chemistry he needs to grow as a quarterback.
Brother,
quarterback on a team that doesn't have room to build that project.
I respect your opinion, me. A lot. You said this the other night. I said about the Bucs, but I'll say football in general. You've forgotten more than I'm trying to give you a compliment. You are solid. I'm not saying that doesn't end up being a conclusion. The 5-year that Trent Dilfer goes and ends up winning a Super Bowl for the greatest defense of all time, that type of situation. But what I'm saying is that it could be 3 or 4 years from now when this Buccaneers team is reloading and not rebuilding, and they're going to do a December piece for the playoff game, and they go back and they interview a now 106-year-old Yoda like Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich, who's now the head coach of the team the Bucs are facing in the Super Bowl. I'm kidding, but you could go back and say, well, this was a project. They worked with this kid. I was the first one who said he looked like a middle linebacker at quarterback at Florida because he had so much size and he was so big. But I saw him command things against the Dolphins game in that preseason that gave me I'm not ready to start the season with him now, but let me know that the future may be really bright and I'm looking forward to it.
But he definitely has all the skills to do it. He's got the arm strength. He has he's tall enough to see the field. The process is processing information.
This is funny.
You're running Windows 22 on MS-DOS right now.
That's such a good freaking analogy. You're an idiot, but go ahead, Ray. What do you say?
I got to read this. This is funny. Am I muted? No. Okay.
Am I? Can you see my pants? They're dirty.
You're funny. Rick Stroud. Just tweeted, quote unquote, Tom Brady is addressing his 11-day break from the team in training camp. I'm 45 years old. There's a lot of shit going on.
Oh, you didn't see this?
Yeah.
Me and I were talking about this. That was a hell of a presser, wasn't it, me?
Yeah. You know what was great about that presser?
Yes.
Did you see his sweat hood?
Forever.
Wait, no, it's not just forever. It's forever.
Wait.
University.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it says forever, and then beneath it says screw the media.
It says forever. Brady University with the goat as the logo.
That's part of his line.
Shameless plug for his business. All he did was market it.
I love, but the thing is that it makes the sense because Harry, he's talking about whatever, and we're talking about forever. We only get one shot at this. There's no second, whatever, and it's forever. I just love the fact, guys. Tell me if you agree on this. If this was New York, if this was even New England, because the rest of the world had already moved in there for 20 years of success. If this were a much more aggressive market, the questions would have been nonstop to the point. Wouldn't we rather have a Brady talking to us and not give a shit about where you were for 11 days now that you're back and ready to do business? Or do we really want to play this game where are we waiting for the masked singer to come on and for Tom to take the mask off? We're like, that's where that son of a bitch was. No, I love the fact that our media, we talk about it. Hopefully we've moved past all of it.
What his play is going to speak volumes.
It did last night, brother. Didn't
it? He looked great. And what's terrible was we got in a 4th-and-1 situation with Brady at the helm that he should have never been in. Tyler Johnson dropped the pass that hit him right in the hands. That would have moved the sticks. So then you're in the 4th-and-1, and do they punt? Do they kick the field goal? No, they push it and let Brady try to get it in the end zone.
That's why they signed Godwin to all that money, FYI.
That was Godwin. Yeah, that's Godwin. Every time we're throwing
that is why they signed Godwin to all that money.
Because he does the dirty work over the middle.
If Tyler Johnson was as good as what people thought he is going to be or was supposed to be. No, it's not. If he was as good as what you see, look, man,
he is good.
The three of us are very knowledgeable in this game. But if we were as knowledgeable as these scouts and the evaluators for the NFL teams, we would not be doing podcasts. Okay? I am a handicapper, and I'm not trying to discount us, but what I'm saying is that's why they paid the money for Godwin. With a knee injury, gentlemen. With a knee injury and the uncertainty, and they think that he'll still be better than what Tyler Johnson's going to be. Don't be surprised Tyler Johnson's on the outs this year.
Oh, I don't know about that, but yeah, 100%.
There's a possibility they could get something in return for him.
Can I give you guys a scenario? I hate this scenario. What if this was actually next year in this contract, and we were looking to give Devin White the first 100? I say this because of Roquan Smith. But what if this was next year and the Bucs had to make that $100 million decision for your middle linebacker position, and you already had Russell Gage in camp? And I'm not trying to say all of a sudden you move a Chris Godwin off, but at that point, do you start to go, okay, we can't do $20 million, and maybe we have someone who can do the middle stuff?
Ray, you did this last offseason.
I did, or the team did?
You did. You always.
And FYI, everybody knows I'm a huge Bears fan.
Oh, me? You remember that?
Roquan Smith is not worth over $20 million a year. Sorry, not at a linebacker.
Yes and no. But let me give you the yes. Okay.
Please.
Okay.
If Roquan Smith is on another team that's not in a 3-year plan, he's worth that money. But right now, the Bears are in a 3-year plan. Green Bay is going to be done in 3 years. The Vikings, if they don't win it this year, are in rebuild mode. They're going to move everyone out. So now you got Chicago and Detroit that are on the ups. Chicago is on a 3-year plan, and if Roquan Smith takes that much money, it's diminishing from what you can get later on.
There you go.
If he's on Green Bay right now, you give that man the money, and you pay him, and you play him.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. Different scenario.
But,
Hey,
Green Bay, but you know what? In defense to that, Green Bay doesn't pay anybody.
No.
They
No, but
never
hey,
have.
let me. Hey,
I
on that note, Harry,
They're the
Harry,
only
I gotta
thing that's
mute him, yeah.
cheaper than. Oh, don't do that.
I mean, I didn't mute you that time on a single season. What I was saying was, you talked about Green Bay not paying that money, and Aaron Rodgers signs what the 5-year, $700 gazillion. The Packers next year can't afford to keep Aaron for $60 million and still give Jordan Love a new contract. They're not going to take the option year on that contract for Jordan Love, are they? Me?
No, I think Jordan Love's out.
So he could be a Buccaneer. Because
I
I'm
don't
telling you what. Go ahead,
Something
Harry.
fell back there, Harry.
I cut you off, Harry. I'm sorry.
Did you guys see that?
Yeah, something fell out of your tree.
Yeah, that would. I mean, it just shook the earth. That's how big these palms are. That
Yeah,
are
they
in the
are.
Street. Feel sorry for us down here. It's dangerous in Florida.
Well, look
Yeah,
at me. I look at the crappy setup I have. I'm getting on that sailboat afterwards.
No, you
Harry,
you
I
see that,
Snowing
right?
next week.
They went
What?
boom, and I was like,
No, I'm just joking.
I'll tell you what, guys, it does feel good, though. I great stat this week. I saw the weatherman on Channel 8. WFTS, I'm throwing all the shout-outs here. But he said that on Tuesday, I think it was the last night of the year for us here in Florida, that the sun would set after 8 o'clock at 8:01, and it wouldn't be after 8 o'clock again until April. So even though
That's miserable.
it's miserable, but the tropics are starting to really shake up. Harry, you just spent a week down in Dominican Republic. Did they even talk about it down there, or do you guys just hold on to your coconuts if the wind gets too heavy?
down there.
In the Dominican Republic, you guys are right. You were right there at Port of What was the place where you were at?
We were in Punta Cana.
Right on the very tip, the eastern facing. I mean, if you reach, if you could swim to Africa. I mean, it was like a little bit. I mean, you'd have to
You
really
could swim to Puerto Rico, and then from Puerto Rico, just a little
can make the
dive to
hop.
Africa.
You had to
So
take
the-
the Amy Gonzalez trip.
You got to go.
You know, I'd love to share a little story. You know,
Please,
off
I'm gonna go.
football related. You know,
Please.
if you ever get a chance to visit the Dominican, it's the island of Hispaniola. I'm sure everybody understands that. It's a wonderful place to be. But I have
Yeah.
to tell you, the people there,
Mm.
you're either very wealthy or you're very poor. There is really no middle class there. And
Sounds like America.
it's
No, I'm
pretty bad.
kidding. I wasn't trying to make light, but no.
And I'll tell you what, man. No, I mean, when I was going to do one of the excursions, I was driving dune buggies, and we were leaving Punta Cana, and we're heading out toward the mountains there, and we're riding dune buggies down the beaches and down these, back roads and everything else. I thought they were dirt roads. No, man, they're not dirt roads. Those are their roads. They don't have
Whoa.
potholes. They have graves, and it takes you hours. And I mean, when I'm telling you
Wow.
hours, for
Yeah.
instance, my concierge, his name was Andy, very nice guy. He made my experience there just absolutely wonderful, and I got to know him a little bit over the week's time.
Hey, Harry, can I be honest with you though?
Yeah,
Those 2.5 pound lobster tails you were sending me pictures of didn't look like you were living too hard down there.
no,
I'm just
I
kidding.
loved it. But what I was saying was,
No, you're
I'm
putting
gonna
light on
give
the
you an
people. I
idea.
get it.
I'm going to give you an idea how hard these people work.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you what they make. It's peanuts, number one. Okay, I think I tip more money than they make in the course of the month.
Did you
But-
tell Jamie what you did? You can't. Can you share it on
No,
here?
no, I can. I took about 50 to 100 singles like this because all the children were running up to me, with a flower and this and that, and they're hustling the whole 9 yards. But when you see houses with no running water, outside kitchens,
Yeah.
off of cinder blocks, I'm talking about homes that have palm fronds over the top of them, and these people are so poor they don't even know they're that poor. But long
Hey, guy.
story short.
No, go ahead.
Can you imagine working 26 consecutive days?
Ooh.
Okay. 26 consecutive days and get 3 days off to do another 26. And out of those 3 days to go spend with your respective families, sometimes you got to drive 6 hours to get back home. That's a day of traveling one way and a day of traveling the other way. And you spend 1 day with your respective families.
Guys, can I ask you a
And they're
question?
happy.
Hey, you got. Hey, that's what everyone needs to know. Someone cares. Let them know that you care. But we all got to find that happiness. Has anybody seen? I just got to ask because I'm not sure. I think it might be not operating. Has the bridge gone up yet today? Has it been in any of the shots? Have you seen it?
I,
Me or
I haven't
Harry?
I haven't seen the bridge go up, but a couple of beautiful boats have gone by. But I'll
That's
tell
the
you
one I'm
what,
getting on. Me, you know what? You don't got to go, do you? I'm gonna keep it for
No,
1 minute.
I'm good.
Good. Harry, you can stick around for a minute, right?
Yeah, sure.
Me again last night at Indianapolis. Any impressions? Because I know I got so many things that happened when I watched the game over here, Dolphins. Just the warm ups, the relationships, anything you saw there on the field at Lucas Oil Stadium that you're like going, yeah, that's all right.
I thought Hainsey played well while he was in.
Oh man,
Fired off the ball real well. Had a couple great blocks. Keith is great downfield blocker. I think he makes the team as a utility back, H back, offline tight end.
How about Walton the tackle? What do you know about Walton the tackle?
I really didn't see much that impressed me from any of the offensive linemen other than Hainsey.
I'll tell you what. You know who looked good? No, I was going to say that defensive line looked good. That defensive line, of course, Levante on that blitz. But I mean, you show it's like one play where you go, okay, this is the 2022 Buccaneers, and then the rest of it's going to be vanilla.
Yeah, what was awesome about that was the stunt they ran a line stunt followed by a backer loop or a Texas, whatever you want to call it. The Steelers, I believe, call it the Steeler X, where the linebacker's going to line up in the outside gap. The tackle's going to cross over in front, and he's just going to wheel all the way around. It's like he's blocking for him.
Dude, and you
had him out of the way, and it just hits that alley, and he was there in a minute. And
you're relying on that quarterback to set up for a pass because truth of the matter is if that quarterback had already decided to pull it down and run, he's got a hole. So it's like the way they run that stunt. It was beautiful. And I love Levante. It just looks like, I don't want to say, we always get we get that past the last preseason game. We're like, oh, they look at midseason form. No. And as Dan, who's the coach of the Detroit Lions again? Dan or
Campbell.
Dan Campbell. I hate that. I can't get that. I love that cat's been watching him on Hard Knocks, but he says this is the best.
My battery's going dead, Roy.
Oh, brother Harry, I appreciate you coming in here.
I don't have any way to plug in out here.
Then I'll bring an extension cord over to you, brother. Hey, anything you want to say before you get out of here?
Sure. You can catch me live this Friday evening on 1252 Sports Chicago. The over-under is back.
Yes.
Maybe you might be able to see some of my friends come on, maybe once in a blue moon.
But are we hey, I don't know about these ugly mugs, but are we still going to have jailbreak hot take? Oh,
hot take jailbreak hot takes.
Explain the concept again here real quick for those people that are watching for the first time here. Anyone who knows us knows this, but go ahead.
It's a pretty unique thing. I field phone calls to talk about sports and anything that they want to talk about. I give a platform to the people from the Florida Department of Corrections or Department of Corrections anywhere in the United States.
Who, by the way, are very, 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 very knowledgeable.
I don't know, Mike, if you've ever had a chance to check out any of those segments, but it'll literally blow your mind. You think we know sports? These guys have nothing to do all day long but look at a pad and get to read everything about it. And who knows? They've been using the Greeks picks, and they've been winning a couple of extra ramens.
And you don't give me anything. That's Friday nights, 9 o'clock, 1252 Sports. Brother, thanks for coming in. I'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you so much, Me. Nice seeing you again, bro.
Nice seeing you here.
I cut him off. You know what, Me?
Quick on the trigger.
Well, he's still in the back room. He could get back in if he wanted to. No, maybe not. He's on his mobile device. But it used to be, I'm never going to be disrespectful, right? This is no reason for that. I'm going to cut me out. But I used to do it by mistake. I'd be waiting until the end, and I go, la, da, da, da. And I always lost that last adjective. It was probably some Tom Brady announcing he's coming back. I had the entire presser, and then right when I got to that part, I took him out of there. But now anymore, it's starting to get to be kind of fun. Does that sound kind of, I don't know. It sounds like I'm being a little too controlling, doesn't it? So let's go back to last night's game because we've only scratched the surface. Can you stick around for a little while longer?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good till probably about 10 o'clock, so I'll stay as long as you need.
That's 11 o'clock my time, which is good because my wife called 20 minutes ago. I'm already half an hour past the time I'm good, but I want to talk about last night's game. Linebackers, the secondary was okay. It seemed like they were like a blip away from an interception the entire second and third quarter. Did it feel that way for you there at the Lucas Oil Stadium? Because they were on it. They were in the right places.
They were making the right reads.
Right.
And they were hitting they were just a split second late, but football's a game of inches. Yeah. A lot of read recognition issues, but they're there. It's going to take time for them to gel and get things working well together. Carlton Davis seemed a little gun shy. He broke on the route and then slowed up and let that
Yeah.
get took him
He
out.
gave that guy the whole field. I saw that because you saw him hustle in right after the play, and the first thing you're thinking is, you just got that contract now. But I mean,
Yeah.
he comes running in, and so he's cognizant of it. It's just always, and I'm not taking away from the secondary and the additions in Logan Hall and Keanu Neal this year, or Logan, sorry, but yeah, it's always going to depend on that front seven, that pressure. I think we have talent in our secondary. Don't get me wrong. We have hard hitters too, which is what this defense needs. But man, you got to have that front seven rush. And tell me if I'm wrong or not. Akeem Hicks, he's 96, right? Was he in there last night?
I didn't see him. He might have played. I didn't see him. I was pretty close to the field, but I didn't see him.
I don't even know if he's 96. That's what I'm thinking.
I believe
Nunez,
he was.
Yeah, because Nunez Roches, I think is 56, right? Doesn't even matter. Right. And then Golston's 92. So yeah, I did see Hicks in there, and what I saw of him, I loved his get up was great, getting out of his stance. It had some nice movement, didn't really do any pressure. I also like the fact that this is Florida right now. I can tell you it's 150 degrees out here. It's hot where you are, my friend. But unless he really went on that Jenny Craig diet, dropped a lot in a month, Lenny Fournette is nowhere near out of shape. That cat's in game condition, and
he looked good.
There's defenses right now. There's linebackers and the secondary guys are going like this. They're worried about having to tackle that train.
What was great about Fournette was seeing the second, third effort. You saw him get hit, maybe yard into the carry, and he's rolling and pulling himself 3 to 5. So he looked real solid. Another player. Go ahead.
I'm not asking you as a Buck fan. I'm going to lean on the bar here when I ask it, so you know how off the cuff it is. You were there. If maybe I'm taking a chance it was right in front of you and you were in opposite field. Pass interference call on Mike Evans on that first drive. That looked like a good defensive play. He might have been there a little early, but it didn't look like he kept him from trying to catch that football.
No, I think Evans got the call because he was on his way up from being down. But no, it didn't look like PI to me. Mike Evans fell before the ball came to him, and then when he was on his way up, he ran in, or they collided, so to speak. It wasn't brutal or anything like that. I don't think it really was pass interference, but I do think you get that call. Because
you're Mike Evans. Because you're Mike Evans, and you get that call. And you get that call because it's Tom Brady's first drive in the preseason, and you just want to let it just flow. I'm not saying there's a thing going on. It was a close call. You can call pass interference. You can call holding on any play. In fact, you can call offsides on any play. How many times do I see a defensive end? He said definitely a face mask over, and then sometimes unless the camera's straight down the row. But God, what was I talking about? I had a great follow up question. What were we talking about? What did you just talk about?
We were talking about Leonard Fournette.
The running back. Oh, and I was talking about Mike Evans. Here, let me ask you this. Mike Evans, sorry, it was what I thought I was having because I've never talked to you about this. Mike Evans' size, his speed, his speed. The fact that kid fights for every ball. To me, one of the best hand. I don't know if he takes some serious advanced, whatever he takes, but Mike's always been like that. You got Johnny Master. Just being able to fight it off. And it's almost like when I used to do Copenhagen back in school, or you used to dip. Kids out there, this is not a PSA, don't do that. But you'd get rag lip after the end of the day, and it would actually kind of hurt a little, but you're like, duh. It was so stupid. But, we were playing football, that's what we did. But the fact of the matter is that Mike Evans the type of receiver that Mike Evans, you know what? I lost it. Go ahead, mate.
Mike Evans is fluid in his motion. He doesn't waste any motion. A lot of your young receivers you're going to see that are hand jostling at the line of scrimmage aren't moving their feet forward, so they're just fighting at the line of scrimmage, and they're doing the defensive back's jobs. What Mike Evans is really good at is fighting off the ball while still progressing forward. You're not going to see him step back to miss the defender. They're going to go right at it, and he's fluid in his motion. That's what makes him so good off the line of scrimmage. He might not be great at yak. Right, he's not. Let's not lie about it.
He's your go-up guy. Yeah,
but he's the guy that's going to get you the first down. He's going to move the sticks. He's dependable. He's reliable. You're going to put in a 50-50 position, and with Mike Evans, it's like 60 or 70-30. So you don't have to worry about that.
Do you get the feeling? And that's his basketball, right? Going exactly the way you described how Mike Evans plays wide receiver is his basketball, to go in and to come back and to get the passes. Then that's of course his basketball. I think that cat would have been 100% a professional basketball player had he not been playing football. But geez, I lost it again, man. What were we talking about? I got a big. No, go ahead. Let's move on. Oh, I wanted to ask you about last night again. We talked about it a little bit. We covered it very briefly. I know we talked about it with the Camarda purposely over kicking the coverages. But it did look like that there were some problems covering some of those kicks, kind of something we've seen happening throughout the preseason with the Bucs.
You know what was kind of odd to me was his first punt.
Yeah,
was beautiful. It had a good hang time, and it didn't directly. I mean, it ascended and didn't descend.
62 yards. I think it was like 62 yards.
Right. When you're watching him punt deep in his own end, late in the, I want to say second quarter, his ball flattened. He had not. His hang time wasn't there. He had no directional. It kind of fluttered in the air. And that's not something you want to see, but get it out of the way in preseason, right?
Well, no, and I get that. And also, let's be honest, the ball was on the half-inch yard line. So not only does he not have he had the back of his feet were literally on that white line, right?
Right.
They seem like on that one where he got that, he lowered it, it flattened out, and it only went to about, I think, barely the 50. They returned it to R38 or whatever because of special teams coverage or was something maybe not that bad. I did notice it flattened out, but there's also part of me, like in that instance of watching the game, I'm watching it and I'm thinking, if this was like the NFC Championship and it was like late January and, we're up 5 points, would this have been one where he would take a safety? Where, he would just take a safety and you get a free kick from the 20, because when you're putting a punter inside of 15 yards and he only had 10 and asking him to get rid of it, that's a recipe for disaster.
It is, but that was one of his better punts.
He got it out to the – no, okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were saying that it flattened out. You mean I thought he did it on purpose because the trajectory of the kick went way down here because he kicked it.
No, I'm thinking it has to do with that stadium, actually. As the temperature dropped outside, the ball started falling faster. His hang time decreased incredibly. So you're not getting the time to get down in coverage. And most of their big returns were after that, after the time to temperature change. I'm not saying that's what it was, but that's what it seemed like to me. I'll just say that, is that when you didn't have the hang time, we didn't have the coverage. When he had the hang time and he had a good loft to his punt, the coverage was there.
Yeah.
Missed tackles happen.
True, and it is a preseason, and there are a lot of guys that may or may not be on this team come Tuesday after 4 p.m., so I get that. Not that they won't be somewhere. But talking about that stadium again, I love the fact – I didn't know this, but was that roof open?
It was all night.
I did not know. So what does it do? It separates from the middle and goes like that, right?
It's like a sunroof.
Because it looked like, I'm guessing the temperature was probably, what was the temperature like last night there?
Oh, in the stadium, it was well over 85.
Oh, so it wasn't all romantic like I thought. I thought maybe I'd be there like trying to decide to put a sweatshirt on, or should I put my Bucs
We were sweating in the stands.
But it was a great time, though, brother. It was a great game. When Cade Otton gets that first Cam Brate. When Cam Brate gets that first reception from Tom on the out, right? The out.
Yep.
As Bucs fans, the first thing we're thinking is, it's like, all right, get that connection, right? Okay, yeah, he's still sitting beachside over here at Tradewinds, Gronkowski, waiting for the call, waiting for the horn to blow. No, he's not. But you get that reception to Cam Brate, and then the reception later on to Cade Otton. He took a couple of good hits last night. Tight end is one of the positions that's going to be really interesting as we get into 2022.
Cade Otton played well.
Keith played well.
Receiving the ball. During the Miami game, I thought he was doing a really good job downfield blocking. I didn't see that last night. He had a couple drops, but overall, Cade Otton is your receiving tight end. Cam Brate is receiving tight end.
Right.
So now you're going to your third option. I really think Keith played outstanding when it comes to blocking downfield.
He's a monster. That kid's a monster. Yes.
He's a fullback. I mean, you can call him what you want. He's a fullback. He opened up quite a few holes early in the game. It's hard to keep 3 tight ends, ain't it?
Oh, I see where you're going. I don't know. Not if you're letting a Giovanni Bernard go to the practice squad. I'm kidding. That could be. I just say that whether you can let a Gio, he's going to make his $2 million or whatever it was. It's a contract. You pay the kid's working, but you slide him there, and if another team picks him up, you're like, I'm not saying it happens, but if you're talking about the Keyshawn Vaughn and Leonard Fournette and Rashad White, no offense to Gio, but White seems to give me everything. He's a rookie. Okay, there's going to be that big drop in a big game. You're going to go, would Gio have gotten it if Gio's not on this team? But I'm willing to take the shot with what this kid has shown, not only at Arizona State, but what we've seen so far of him in the preseason. Absolutely.
I also think that there's no reason to keep Bernard around now that Cam Brate grew his mustache.
He does. You saw that post today. And I love that lady there. They didn't show her on the jumbotron there, the oil can, did they? With the braid jersey and the mustache.
No, I didn't see that.
Did you see my Facebook post today? Check it out. I put a
I
picture.
will.
She was during the broadcast, and of course, you didn't have time to watch the broadcast fully yet because you were there. But I'm trying to think of something else about last night before I get you out of here because I appreciate you coming back again. As we get ready for Dallas, let me ask you about this because the surprise, Ali Marpet, Tristan Wirfs, the body of work, Alex Kappa, Marpet, or I already said Marpet. Should we be surprised that Jason Light knows how to build an offensive line? It almost, it seems like why everyone's looking at the magic shells over here. Jason Light secretly building a line with depth. And I'm saying I'm done with this sprained ankle. I'm done with anything. I don't even want to see guys gassed. I want to see Ryan Jensen's face back. But this offensive line does seem to be able to plug and play pretty good.
Yeah, we had good depth developed behind our starters.
Yeah,
but now our depth is our starters. With the announcement of J.C. Treader retiring from the league, that really hampers who's out there.
Now we know why there was never any call, especially and when Hainsey goes. Well, he looked fine though. He was on the sidelines all night, but
he was taped up on the sideline. They were letting him walk around on it, so that leads me to think there was no structural damage. Maybe he rolled it real good. Maybe it's a high ankle sprain.
That's what it looked like on TV. It just looked like one of these deals where you're almost going down and the guy caught it at the very last second, but there was no ankle to turf.
Leverett rolled into him is what happened.
That son of a how many times?
that was the end zone that I was in actually, but it was terrible. Having said that, like I was saying, we have no depth. You're going to start Leverett at center if Hainsey can't go. That means you're starting Gadecki at guard, Mason at guard, Wirfs at tackle, and Donovan, if Wirfs can go.
Can I ask you a question? I know I'm all over the board here, but my mind, you know how it works.
I have ADD too.
And that's why you and I communicate so well. Is Frank Reich an asshole? I mean, they have it 1st and goal to 1-inch line. Okay, it's a touchdown. He challenges it. They get another touchdown. There's a penalty. It was going to be a touchdown the whole way. Why does a coach use a challenge in the preseason? You should just be happy you got a playthrough that was successful and you don't. Or go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, you got to realize two things. One, he's playing against Tom Brady, right? And he wants to put that in the end zone. Two is that they're in preseason too, so they've got coaches up in the booth that are looking at that before it goes to him, and they're like, "We need to replay this. We need to replay this."
Yeah, we have challenges. Yeah.
That way he can see, he can gauge how much he can trust who's upstairs.
Brother, that is I hate that you're so right about that. Now I feel like a complete idiot when I said that last night. And the thing is, it's the old school football. But you're right. Even the processes of practicing processes need to be practiced to make sure it's a smooth process. And that just makes sense.
What was funny was he challenged the first one in the middle of them
getting a touchdown.
But because they even missed that second one, actually. They showed the replay at the stadium.
Yeah, his knee was down.
But so he challenged it, took the next play away. You're getting your guys hit hard. I mean, the Bucs were coming after that series.
I know. You know what I was thinking of, brother? At home, I'm thinking Leroy Selman, Dewey Selman, Dave Logan, Mark Cotney on the blitz. I was thinking about the old school Buccaneers, the goal line stands, brother. We used to have so many of them in the big sombrero. And then we had quite a few of them with Tony Dungy in the 2000 Buccaneers as well. And I'm like, just do it to them. Of course, as a football fan, you are. But, man, you're so right, though, because even if you sit on a challenge, and Bill Belichick would sit on that challenge. I think Bill Belichick would just be like, get the hell. And sometimes, now, if he's playing head games, maybe. But you're right. Practicing that, getting the call down, throwing the flag, it being successful, that goes as a win in the preseason handbook.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, Bucs lost on and off the field yesterday.
Ooh, tell me about off the field.
Well, you got Hainsey. I mean,
yeah,
you got him off the field, and now you're stuck in a position where you're not in a battle for who's starting. You're what's left. So now you're waiting to see who's cut Tuesday. If there's a good lineman cut Tuesday, the Bucs make a move. They have to make a move because you have no depth.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Why my mind's thinking about it? with Ryan Jensen, it first happens in practice. One of the rookies or young guys, we saw it. It didn't look. You don't know what is back because of the size of these cats, but they purposely waiting until the season starts so that we can get them for a run back, like maybe October, November. But now I'm all of a sudden because you get by with no news, and I'm sure there's players around the league on every team that they get by with no news because everybody's like, don't worry, there's something going on. We'll find out when. Then all of a sudden, yesterday I hear someone say the Bucs are lucky they could get him back for December or maybe a playoff push. You're hearing it is the serious one, or do you still have hope that it could be like a 6 or an 8 week return possibly for Ryan Jensen?
With Jensen, I mean, any injury at the knee right now is serious.
Yeah.
But I've not heard anything other than we're wait and see. We're going to see how well he can adjust. Swelling goes down. If they can get the swelling down and the tendon is strong enough to put a brace on it, or the ligament is strong enough to put a brace on it and keep him stable.
Yeah.
He's not running 75 yards down the field. All you need is him to protect your backside, protect your quarterback.
How many times has Ryan Jensen's dad commented on one of your shows? He has, right? The guy's passionate, right? And I love this, and you get the impression that Ryan's dad's there in Colorado somewhere, and Ryan, even though somewhere he's cooking up, he's got a butt been cooking all night. It's going to be the most savory barbecue you ever had. You get the impression that at some point he's just going to get a bunch of bubble gum and a brace and just throw it on and say, all right, let's do this. But you don't want to do anything that could damage his career. I was just hoping that they're waiting until the season starts so they could put him on that where he can come back after 6 weeks, because I would think that. Look, even if Tom went to bat for his guy and he's like, win one for the Gipper, Tom, and if we make Super Bowl 57, please let me be there. That the Buccaneers would look at this and go, no, this is a season ender. It's serious enough that we got to shelf this guy and we're going to let him have 2022 off. So, we'll see. We got Tuesday's final cut downs, right?
Yeah, he'll be on the roster. They're not gonna.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I didn't mean cut him. I just mean we'll find out.
No, they're not gonna. They'll put him on IR.
Right.
He'll be able to come back in what? 8 weeks, 4 weeks IR,
6 weeks. Maybe it's 4, but I thought it was maybe we'll split.
Maybe it's Cup that's 4, IR 6. But either way, he comes back probably after the bye if he comes back. If not, you're looking at playoffs. You're not rushing that back.
Brother, do you mind? Can I put you on? Let me ask you a question real quick. All right, tell me about the drive from Indianapolis last night.
The drive last night, we left a little early, home. But it was just me sitting there driving. I mean, there's nothing really to tell you about it. You worry about Hainsey.
I just put you on a spot.
You're good. You're sitting there worrying about Hainsey, hoping that it's nothing more than just a rolled ankle.
Were you on the sideline with or without? Were you on the Buccaneer sideline? Or
I was on the end zone. I was in the end zone, lower bowl.
There was absolutely no quickness. There was no intern who hasn't done this but 100 times in practice, rapidly throwing that blue tent up. I mean, he was definitely limping. You get these high ankle sprains or you get some of these and you've got to take – that's Hainsey. That's our starting center. You've got to take that extra precaution. But, again, brother, I don't care how tough he is. If there was any – of course, you still have to wait to get because there could be something that the doctors and the orthopedists on the sideline don't see. But you don't let that kid stand on the sidelines the rest of that game if there's any question that there's structural damage.
He went in early. He was in the locker room.
Jesus, you ruined my day. No, I'm kidding.
So they make a diagnosis, take him to the locker room. They probably gave him an X-ray, checked the flexibility of the ankle. They taped it up, which is a good sign. Taping it up means that it was swelling, but
no air cast. Yeah,
there was no air cast. He was walking on his own power. He was using his ankle. If it's a high ankle sprain, brace it, mask it. He can play. Just like, go ahead.
Brace it, mask it, and powder it, baby. It's time to get in there.
Yeah, you brace it for the stability. You mask it so he can play with the pain. But other than that, I mean, if he's able to go, he's going to go. Leverett played well, though, at center after.
He did. He came in. That's what makes me go, look, nobody wants to see anybody getting injured on the offensive line, and no one wants to see. But I'm like, these guys, it wasn't their first rodeo. I'm like, wow, obviously. And, of course, they practice this way. But, hey, brother, do you got a couple of minutes for some comments real quick?
Yeah, we're good.
See if anyone has a question about last night's game, something you and I haven't already covered. Although I think we've thoroughly covered it pretty well. Thanks for being here, brother.
Not a problem.
Johnny Dean says, what's up? Johnny Dean says, Krabbies. Yeah, Krabbies on the pass down here. I'm telling you what, when you come over here for the playoff game in January, because I won the lottery and I set you up at the Holiday Inn or I'll leave the lights on for you. We'll come here to Krabby's on the Pass. It's got just decks and decks. There's 3 stories. They've got inside out, and it goes all the way from the Gulf of Mexico and wraps around into John's Pass here. They got this bartender, Amy. She's the most awesome. And the food here, and everything's all redone. They just redid it. And I'm telling you what, I'll put this on. I'm going to vote for them for the Creative Loafing Best of the Bay, best clean bathrooms, because everything here is so clean. But yeah, John, Krabby's on the Pass down here, my friend. Are you falling asleep?
No, I'm laughing.
Misador, Johnny Dean. You know, Johnny Dean had any pelotas, he'd come in here. Scott Taylor says you can't beat the LA Rams. First of all,
We don't have to.
We don't. Well, not until we don't have to until the NFC Championship game or playoffs, and all we're going to do is beat on Matt Stafford's elbow, and we'll take care of that. I'm kidding. That was terrible.
Is Stafford playing? We don't even know yet.
Ooh, Christopher Cole says we should keep 6 wide receivers: Evans, Godwin, Jones, Gage, Johnson, and Darden. But we might keep 7, BP or Brashard Perriman or the other undrafted free agents. I saw Perriman. I didn't know was injured because I saw him on the sideline last night, and I was like, oh, because I already know what that kid, UCF, former first round pick himself out of the University of Central Florida. I know what that kid can do, but it's going to be a numbers game, isn't it, me?
Yeah, it is. And I posted my 53 on.
Hey, the bridge is up.
I see that. I posted my 53 on the Crew Roundtable page. If you want to check it out, I have the Bucs
Yes.
even 8.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, you posted it on where? Tell us again.
On the Crew Roundtable.
Roundtable. That's right. Follow it. Yeah, follow it. And if you're not in there, you're allowed to request to get in there and get in on some of that party, which that wouldn't be hard.
Yeah, I have them keeping 8.
Gabbard could have took the job from Winston in 2019.
We did cover that.
You got to admit, where else? Okay, this is the deep analysis for a cup of Ray from down here at Krabby's on the Pass here on a hotter than hell Sunday. I am so freaking hot. I'm about to I feel like I'm going to be like I'm in the Wizard of Oz and I'm the Wicked Witch of the East. I'm going to go, Ray, my pretty, my. Oh, no, she didn't say that. But what was I? The whole thing with Dalton in New Orleans and Dennis Allen and that Saints defense, and they're like, okay, what's the plays, coach? They tell Dalton, okay, hand Kamara right, hand Kamara left, screen pass Kamara right, and then hit Thomas for an open whatever. And now you're like going, yeah, I mean, that cat's old, but Tom Brady's proven that these cats can play till the ages and play at a high level, so it kind of makes you go, got to keep an eye on it. Of course, that would mean he supplanted Jameis, and I'm just saying that seems to be a lot of news about Jameis in the leg, and I'm hoping that kid's healthy. I think Jameis is like Jensen, would be one of them kids that would just put a brace on and play. But if he's not able to have, go ahead.
Jameis looked good last night or this week.
Did he?
Was a 404 for 56 yards. First drive of the game, they let him out.
Then my whole Dalton argument. Then the scary thing is now a talented and 3 years removed, but 2 years under Sean Payton, Jameis Winston, and that Dennis Allen defense in the NFC South. It's weird how you think back at the history of NFL or football divisions, and you think back to the old days when it was the Cowboys and the Giants, and then and then the Washington. I'm gonna say Redskins because they were the Redskins at the time. Okay, whatever, Commanders. But the tops of and then for the Bucs, it was always the Packers were ruling it, and of course we had a hard time. And how they switch over. But man, the way this New Orleans team is put together, we can talk about Baker Mayfield and the Panthers, and we can take a look at whoever's playing quarterback there in Atlanta. But this New Orleans team just always seems like they're going to be a thorn in the side of the Bucs. We do have to beat them in that first game in week 2, don't we?
I don't know if we have to beat them, but we have
to. Come on, just agree with me.
We have to learn from it. If we don't beat them, they need to take advantage of Penning being out. Trevor Penning's out, so he won't be playing that game. So they're going to be down a starter on the offensive line. So the Bucs do need to exploit that and take advantage of that. And I really think the only way the Bucs win that game is if the defense steps up and plays well.
Okay, I'll take that. In fact, I'll buy that for $1. Christopher Cole says, Christopher. Yeah, he was agreeing with me from that. I hope they change the run on first down. I don't know if he's talking about that first run that you had from Leonard Fournette last night. That was incredible. And a lot of it was Leonard. A lot of it was that line opening up.
7 yards.
That was beautiful, wasn't it?
It was. He rolled real well out of that tackle.
Found C says, what a good surprise show. Great job. Man, hit share them, please, for me. I'd appreciate it. But me and I would both appreciate that. I am so freaking hot, man. Can you see the sweat pouring off of me? At one point, it's going to be like a comedy movie where you're going to go, and I've been without a Coke for about 20 minutes. So at some point, I may just fall down with dehydration. But I love talking to you, bro. You sure you can stick around still?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm already going to be divorced when I get home, so I might as well keep the show going. Let's see. Where's that one that said something good about the show? Oh, well, yeah, I'm going to go there again. I just love that one. What a good surprise show. Thanks, fellas. Christopher Cole says, who won the kicking battle? Can we call it? Ladies and gentlemen, the votes are in. Can we call it at this point, me?
I don't think so. I don't think you can. I think it's going to come down to Financial decision or football decision? Football decision, it's Suckup's job. Financial decision, it's Borgales. If it's a financial decision, you're going to see the Bucs pull in at least 1 to 2 offensive line depth this week.
Wouldn't that just be the cat's meow if it was the necessity for line depth because of what's been going on that you have to facilitate? And I'm not saying you're still getting 2 great kickers. I'm not putting down Borgales or Suckup, but that ends up becoming the reason of a line. Unless who else? Unless Tom wants to resign, unless Tom wants to do another 2-year, and then we can put about $10 million toward that cap. You're laughing, but you know that cat could do it, right?
It'd be great, but I think he was he was gone for 11 days.
Because Tom, I just, again, talk about that press conference last night. That was just, he had his hair parted in the middle. It was, he put some stuff in it and just had him comb it straight out. Looked like he was right out of Bratz. And he wears that. And you know what? Because it was a business, and as much as I want to see guys in ties and Armani suits and say it was a business trip, for Tom, it was a business trip. He was all business from the moment he was warming up there on the sidelines, wasn't he?
Yeah, he looked good. I mean,
God, he looked good.
Real precise with the ball, quick out of his hand. I don't know if you guys are big on that. I'm good at quarterback release time. And you're looking at 1.7 to 1.9 seconds for Tom Brady to release the ball all day yesterday. Blaine Gabbert was good. He was around 2.5. And then you got
17 seconds for Kyle Trask.
Right. I stopped and had to get the stand timer out.
Baraka Pollard says, I know it's preseason, but we look horrible. Get out of here. There have been times, but, it is preseason. You said it yourself. Christopher Cole, our defense is going to be dominant if they stay healthy. I mean,
I agree.
Dude, you can't even stop this defense. Oh, go ahead.
You're going to see a heavy dosage of rotation, I think, is going to help us come
You got that right.
Season. Another play that looked great was Carl Nassib. He crushed the ball down. He collapsed the entire side of the line of scrimmage, which forced them to make a lot of plays bounce outside or bounce inside that weren't supposed to go the direction they were going.
Let me tell you something else. Just looking at the way the team – I want to say this from the time when Tom goes to the sidelines, he picks up the thing. He's doing everything. I don't think I knew the cat did things a lot, almost OCD-like, but Tom really is a creature of habit, isn't he? He does the same things. He's got his regimen, and it just works for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about when you were watching him? I saw you post a video of him making those throws. See, because it came across on the video, and I'm sure it had to. He looks like he's in literally the most phenomenal shape of his life.
It's
weird, right?
It's a lot of avocado, but he looks good. I mean,
strong. He looks good, strong.
Look at Tom Brady. Look at young Tom Brady and old Tom Brady. I mean, that's 2 different athletes. One was just to through the ball, and the next one is an athlete. Tom Brady right now is moving better than he ever has.
Touchdowns and Tokes says it's too damn early. He also has Touchdowns and Tokes. What a great name. How do you feel about your Pats, Josh? I'm sorry. I should have got these earlier when, of course, J.C. Allen from Pewter Report was on with us. I'm about to mess up some oatmeal cream pies. Hey, hashtag Sunday goals. I'm about to mess up some oatmeal pies. Hey, we've all got to have that. The Masked Singer sucks. I don't know. It does suck when – go ahead.
They're playing into the whole Brady thing. I don't know if you saw that. They've had them guess Brady a couple times already. So
can I throw a curveball at you?
He's really there?
It is the most phenomenal brand move and completely 100% Gronkowski if Rob's not one of those singers. And no one knows it because Rob's on the Ultimate Fighting talking about how they almost became Patriots, and he's doing this and he's selling the ice shakers, and you put Tom there in the light of it, and Tom's letting him have fun with it. Never alluded to it, never said no to it. Just shouldn't have to say no to it. It was stupid in the first place. But man, I'm hoping that I'm not going to watch the show unless I hear he's on it. But I'm hoping that they sing a really beautiful rendition of Lullaby Baby or something, and everybody's like, oh, that was fantastic, and you pull it off, and there's just Gronk right there, and he spikes the microphone. I mean, why not? That would be ultimate ratings, right?
Right. I mean,
it's still sorry show. That show sucks.
But
let's see here. Steve Probert says, I want to pop around the Greeks' home. Oh, he liked that weather out there at Harry's house. Hey, I live across the street. Steve Probert says Bucs D is solid enough. Yeah, I mean that's what I love. I didn't see Devin White at all last night. Saw him in warm-ups. Was there?
He played real well.
Was he? He was sitting like covering. He was trying to cover.
He was good in coverage.
Yeah, Michael Jr. Pittman Michael Pittman Jr. running across the center. Man, tell me about that kid in person. I knew he was a great receiver and a phenomenal athlete, but they were talking on the broadcast last night, and they said he is just lights out.
Yeah, he's a true number one.
Really?
You'll see it. You'll
That's
see
what
it.
Rondé
You'll see it as he gets older and gets more maturity behind him. But yeah, he's great catch radius. Catches the ball with his hands in front of him.
Good body control. Yeah.
He doesn't move without the ball, and that's where you see a lot of younger guys make mistakes. Is the ball hits their hands and they're moving.
Yeah, kind of like a Tyler Johnson.
Yeah,
oh no! Did I just go there?
No, it's exactly what I said.
Right?
The ball hit him with the hands, and he's turning, and he didn't even have the ball.
I know.
I yelled it. I mean, you got to catch. I mean, I was
yelled.
I did. I'm like, you got to catch the damn ball first.
Oh, nice. Because you know what? The thing is, you may have had some Indianapolis fans kind of, but hearing you yell, I'm sure he could probably hear you.
Yeah.
Steve also says, put the O feels toothless. No, I felt that way last week. But last night, you're never going to show what you got planned. They don't even. Hey, Julio said, what part of that extensive 485 page offensive rule book or playbook do you want me to run? Which route tree? And they said, look, just go 15 and do a button hook. We're going to hit you, get you out. Let's save it all for week 1 in Dallas. I have no doubt about that. And then you mix in. I just think they really have to commit to that running game. They have to. I want to see Tom Brady win his 17th Super Bowl, but the Buccaneers 3rd, because the Buccaneers can establish a run game, which only makes that passing game all the more sweeter.
Yeah, you're going to see them build off the run this year instead of the other way around. Lenny looks good. It's going to give you a lot of play action options, and when you got a running back like Keyshawn Vaughn and Rachaad White that are so sure-handed out of the backfield, not that Lenny's not a good catching.
He's gotten so much better. Yeah.
You float those guys out in play action, or you run them on a little hook in the middle of the field there, it's going to be open because they're going to suck in on the run. So I really think they're going to build off that.
Let's see here. Stevie says backup. Stevie says Fournette was fighting. Yeah, love the fight in Lenny last night. Vaughn had a nice showing. Yeah, he looked solid, man. Didn't he?
Averaged 4.5 a carry.
You got to love that. Christopher Cole says Hall is not going to play much unless we have an injury. Is he talking about Logan?
I don't know if I agree with that. Logan Hall should see a lot of.
He's a depth piece. He's a depth. He's going to be depth for sure. Iron Mike Evans. Yeah, I love that. Steve Probert says Mike Evans is the best NFL at what he. And that's what I was kind of where we were going with that conversation earlier. I'm glad you said that, Steve. Is that there is no Mike at what he does. Mike Evans is Mike Evans. I mean, that's why the Cat has quietly put together a Hall of Fame career and continues to do so. And he came to this team, God, on a wing and a prayer. Don't ever forget, we draft, and you remember this, the bridge going up again. I'm going to post for it. This is going to be my Facebook. I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Anyway,
but let me
draft.
We drafted Mike Evans before we drafted Jameis Winston. Mike Evans 2014, Jason Light knew what he was doing. He was getting a franchise lockdown wide receiver, and he continues to do it to this day.
Yeah, with Mike Evans, you got to remember he won the Heisman.
He did, man, because
Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel. Oh God, I made a mistake one time. I said Longhorns. I was talking about Mike Evans, and I don't know why I did it. It was a throwaway. It's like, why would you even do that? Of course, the former Aggie, and man, did I get roasted for that, bro? You can understand. Hey, I'm up here. I'm a clown on a wire here. It's a balancing act. If I fall, enjoy my death. I have no problem with that. Steve Probert says reminds me of Luke Stalker. Talking about Logan Hall. No,
I think Stevie's talking about Keith.
Keith. Yeah. Okay. He just said Keith right there.
With the difference there is Stalker was a little better handed than Keith is right now.
Yeah.
Luke didn't get a lot of credit for catching the balls that he did because he was mainly there to block, but he was solid. He wasn't you weren't writing him off as a tight end when he was in.
Oh, hell no. There was, and what it was, you might run 100 plays and 99 of them would be him blocking, but there was that one tight end hook.
Right.
And you could depend on him to catch that football. Boy, O.J. Howard, is he even still? I wonder if he even makes the Bills 53 when they cut down. From what I heard last time, it was, I don't know.
He's O.J. Howard. That's what that's.
Yeah. He should play baseball.
Everyone's afraid to say he was a bust because he got injured. But let's call a spade a spade.
Yeah,
what did he do?
It was a bust. Nothing.
He was a bust here in Tampa. Could he be good in the NFL? Yeah, he's got a high ceiling, but your ceiling doesn't matter if you're laying on the floor, and he can't get up.
Me, how long have you been a Bucs fan? I asked this of all my guests.
86.
Yeah, I know. I kid around. I ask everybody. Do you remember when the Bucs draft Keith McCants out of Alabama, and he was the most locked down linebacker, but he has the leg injury, and so Floyd Peters, the Rock, has this brilliant idea to fatten him up and make him a defensive end.
I do. In fact, playing Super Tecmo Bowl this weekend, McCants tore it up for me.
No, he didn't. That is you know something in the history of my show. That is the best freaking take ever.
But no.
But the thing is,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I want to hear what you said. Go ahead.
Well, they took a flyer on Kendall Beckwith. Remember that?
Right.
He would have been a late second round pick at the latest.
Yes.
So the Bucs took a flyer on him because he was injured. If the Bucs had known O.J. Howard had this injury history or whatever you want to call it, do they still take him that early? I mean, I just think, Boston.
I got to be honest with you. From the moment they draft, again, coming from Alabama, playing for Nick Saban, a championship team, the kid does have some talents. God, I say that everyone's a kid to me now. I'm like 102 years old, sweating. Are you looking at me though? Right there?
You can see it there, right?
Do I look like I'm in total discomfort? How about
it looks like you're wearing hypercolor from the 90s.
Oh, I should be doing it like this, and I'm wearing. Oh my God, I'm putting on too much weight. When I used the thing with the drafting Keith McCants and trying to heavy him up to play defensive line, it almost feels like because from the moment they drafted O.J. Howard, he was a wide receiver at the time, and he's not Kyle Pitts. He's not the blocker that a Pitts will be, and also the receiving skills of it. But he seemed like a Kyle Pitts before Kyle Pitts' time, and I'm like. Maybe I think the original plan was Dirk Cotter was to use that guy as a receiver out of the tight end position. But the thing about this is, in this offense, you got to be able to block.
Right. Yeah, you got to do the little grunt work to get the time you need to play.
Was he a good blocker? Do you think? I mean,
OJ, no.
Yeah. Okay. No, I want to make sure
he was supposed to be a decent blocker, but no.
That's because Alabama had 10 other All-Americans on, or 6 other All-Americans on the offensive line that could also block for big running backs to have big games.
If OJ was a good blocker, you wouldn't have seen the drastic statistical increase Donovan Smith as a blocker.
Wow.
When Rob Gronkowski came in.
Big time. Oh, look at that. I mean, could you imagine right now Tristan Wirfs, yeah. I just want to get to this last comment because it's getting near the end here. I do have to go home at some point. I have to pay the piper. I don't know what it is yet. Steve Probert says Rob's been on as the White Tiger, talking, of course, about Rob Gronkowski on The Masked Singer. There's at least one person who's watched this show. First of all, they're like, that guy sweats like a sailor, or swears like a sailor. And 2, that are going to look at this and now at least fast forward or look at YouTube to see on The Masked Singer in case Rob Gronkowski. Do you put it past him to not do that?
Well, he was on years past.
Well, he's been on a Masked Singer before?
Yeah, he was the White Tiger.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, that was the year he retired to avoid the trade to Detroit.
And he became a wrestler. But the funny thing is that just goes to show you how I do not watch that show whatsoever. I think when you synthesize a voice, anyone can sound good, and sure, it's going to be someone famous. And I don't want to get political on a Sunday, but when you open it up and someone they had on last season, and I'm like, that's just go. You know what? Things today in today's society, sometimes when we can go to the nth degree with idiocy. In some cases, maybe it makes it more applicable to watch or something like that. But anyway, anything we haven't talked about here, but I thank you again for coming on, because you were actually when you said you could comment on the show, and then I'm sorry to hear your show got canceled.
No,
but
good.
Who else in warmups did you see last night that you looked at? Defense? Did the secondary look like they were good? The linebackers? Vita Vea is wide, right? I mean, I know you've seen him before, but man, how wide is Vita Vea?
He's like he's like the Kool-Aid man busting through a wall.
But fast as hell and angry as angry.
Do you remember the Family Guy when? Oh, I'm sure I don't know if you watch Family Guy, but they're in the courtroom and like, oh no, and then Kool-Aid busts you and is like, oh yeah. Watching Vita Vea go through the line every play is like that. He's throwing people out of the way. He's a bouncer.
They're grabbing appendices. They're grabbing arms and legs. Appendage. Jesus, what? Talk about chronic traumatic encephalopathy. But they're grabbing his arms and legs, and he's marching through, going, "Oh yeah!"
You can say that, but not appendages.
It's that. It's that. It's that. ADD,
you got to get out of the heat, right?
Oh, I got to get some water before I get hydrated. But again, I just want to go ahead and say we're going to do this again, brother. Please,
Absolutely.
I love talking with you. Got the Bucs 2 weeks from today. Let me ask you this. I'll leave you on this note. It was a fail for me, Roger Goodell, and I'm going to go single screen for 1 second. I'll come right back to you because I got to go full
You're
screen
good.
on this one. Roger Goodell, thank you for being commissioner of the best sports league in the entire world, the National Football League. And yes, we have to look past some of your transgressions with some of the decisions you have to make for those 32 owners you work for. I'm kidding. But it's going to be a fail for me if you couldn't have started preseason a week earlier and started the NFL season this next weekend. Labor Day weekend used to be the Jerry Lewis Telethon. Why the hell is the NFL weekend not starting on a 3-day? We always talk about the Super Bowl. Let me bring you back in. We always talk about that. Oh, let me go. I got you full screen. Sorry, bro. Okay, we'll go back here. I'll move you in here. There we go. God, I am getting hot. Wait, here we go. But don't you wish the NFL, why couldn't the Bucs should be playing Sunday night so we've got all day Labor? Of course, here in Florida, we're going to be worrying about a hurricane or something, but we should be able to enjoy Labor Day having watched the Buccaneers beat the Dallas Cowboys instead of waiting 2 weeks.
Business decision.
Damn,
what are you
why
doing?
Though?
What are you doing Labor Day?
Labor Day? Eat hot dogs? No,
That's
July 4th.
You're grilling, your family's over, you're having a picnic. They're not going to get the same ratings they're going to get if everyone's watching one TV.
They're all watching one TV. That's why I've got you on here, my friend. I didn't see that.
It's a business decision. You want to get your ratings up. You're not going to sell advertising. Not that the NFL has problems selling advertisements, but if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. So they want to increase their ratings every chance they get.
Dude, dropping that knowledge. Let me ask you about this. Florida State won. I think they beat a local junior college out of wherever, but Florida State won. They're on their way back. They're going to have a chance. What's going to go on with Florida football this year?
I'm a big Florida State fan, so
I wasn't trying to crack on them.
No, it's good. I don't know. It's really hard to say when you're playing teams like that and you're beating them, and you're happy. That's when it's an issue, right? When you're bragging about beating a directional school, that's something you want to take into the season.
It just sucks because you think back. You're like, it's Florida State, it's in Tallahassee, the prestige, Bobby Bowden, not just football, but all the programs, but the great university that it is. And you think about how bare that cupboard was after it with no offense, no defense. It seemed the boosters jumped on the club. Norvell seems to have them at least pointed in the right direction. But man, I was talking to someone the other day, and I'm like, I remember back in whatever 80 or 96 or whatever, when it was Florida versus Florida State, 1 versus 3, undefeated, the Doke-it choke, or the choke-it doke, the Hurricanes were number 3 in the country, and Florida was dominating. And I have a feeling they're going to get there again. At least they're pointing in the right direction. But the USF Bulls are going in the right direction too. So I'm not going to even talk about UCF.
My buddy Andy would be upset you're not talking about UCF.
I'll talk about UCF. No, I'm kidding. Blake Bortles, best quarterback to ever come from.
But it's good to see that USF is back up on the uptake. But with the whole Florida State thing, you got to look back to Jimbo Fisher. That's where the program fell. Jimbo left the cupboard bare, knew he was leaving the cupboard bare, and just bolted out of town. And you been through 2 coaches since, and not much has improved there.
First of all, I was so against it, and I probably still think I'm against it because I think the Cat's doing great things at Jackson State. But I was like, you can't make Deion Sanders your head coach. But I'm like, now I'm realizing that this guy knows how to build an organization. He knows how to. Maybe people just attract to him, but Jimbo Fisher, he gets out of there. What was the what happened between Jimbo Fisher and Florida State? Why did that relationship go so sour?
I really think it was just the fact that he had a terrible recruiting class the year prior.
He got lazy.
Got a lot of money.
Yeah,
and he left. That's
he's rocking now. Where's it? Texas? No, not Texas. Yeah, they're Texas. They're in the talk again. I heard people saying a lot of, maybe the boosters at Florida State just got a little tired for a minute, always giving money, the boosters doing sponsoring. You and I can have this conversation another day. So let's talk about, before I get you out of here, because I'll talk to you again, but I am so wet. Teams you're looking forward to in week 1, games, matchups you're looking forward to in week 1, obviously including your Buccaneers versus the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that Bucs Cowboys is a huge game. Really wanting to watch the Bears, Niners. You got two new
Yes.
offenses being established there. You got a whole new scheme in Chicago. You got new coaching in Chicago. Your defense is going to be different. You got Trey Lance taking over the reins of offense that was, 2 plays away from going into the Super Bowl last year?
Yes.
And you leave Jimmy Garoppolo on the sideline. So now you don't know what you have really in Trey Lance. So it's going to be interesting to see, and I'm really looking forward to that game.
Who's your defensive coordinator? Not yours, but who's the defensive coordinator with the Bears? Is it Pease? No.
Oh, I'm not certain on that.
Okay, my bad. But Eberflus is the head coach, of course.
Eberflus is the head coach, correct?
Do you trust Eberflus enough to have a solid defensive game plan more than you trust Kyle Shanahan to have some offensive wrinkles wrapped into that game? Where's the game at? Is it in Chicago or out in San Francisco?
Game is in Chicago.
Oh, now I'm in, baby. That's gonna be a war. Is it the new stadium? Is it the new stadium? Is it the horse track or still at Soldier Field? I'm kidding. Go ahead, brother.
We're still in Chicago. But what's great about that is you've got so much going into that game. If Trey Lance goes down, not saying I want anyone to get injured, but if Trey Lance goes down, what does San Francisco do? What if Trey Lance plays terribly? What does San Francisco do?
They don't even have Nick Mullins anymore.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo is sitting healthy on the sideline. You haven't put anything into him. They're not even letting you practice with the team. He's got to stand off and practice on his own. What do you do? I mean,
Jimmy Garoppolo is smart about that. Because let me give you my take on it. He's guaranteed the $25 million. He's not going to get it. They're going to cut him before the season, before they have to pay him. I guess we'll hear about that before Tuesday, right? Or is that what?
Yeah. I mean, the decision has to be made by Tuesday.
But if you figure that they said to Garoppolo, look, you can decrease your value, you can become a problem, a cancer in the locker room, you can go around stomping your feet doing stupid interviews, or you can go out on field D and work out. You're still at the $25 million, even though in all probability Garoppolo is. I'm going to take a guess here. He's going to get cut, and then Seattle Seahawks are going to sign him to $15 million contract, maybe more.
I mean,
not Seattle. I'm putting Geno Smith down, and Drew Lock needs to be a nobody. But I mean, Garoppolo's not going to get. He's not going to get it. He's not going to get Patrick Mahomes money.
He's not. But
Jameis Winston money.
All Jimmy Garoppolo has done since being a starter, in the NFL, has taken his team deep in playoff runs. He's been to the Super Bowl. He's been to the NFC Championship game, and that's when he started.
Damn, that's a nice boat. That's the boat I'm going on after the show about Scarab.
You better start swimming.
Here I go. It looks like I already have, brother. I could go on and on with you, but I do gotta go. I guess I'll get out of here. Brother, share the show around. Hey, maybe we can get a few people to share the show, and then next time we do this, we get an even bigger audience, because obviously the questions and the comments is where all this is at, so we can have that back and forth, because really some of the best talk you and I had were topics that popped up in the conversation, comments, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. It's always good to let the audience drive the show,
because they're not up on that tightrope like this with the OCD or with the ADD. But me, where can we find you, brother?
Crew NFC Roundtable every Sunday morning, except for this Sunday because of technical difficulties. 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll also have a new Bucs show coming out by week 1, and the AFC Roundtable will be starting up week 1 as well. So we have 2 new shows coming to you from the Crew on the Crew Roundtable page.
Brother, can you share that article with me you were talking about?
My 53.
Yeah, I want to see your 53. I'm sure I can see it, but just if you can send it to me.
Yeah, it's in your messenger.
Brother, I appreciate it. Me. Hey, have a great day, my friend. Thanks for
coming. All right, brother. Take it easy.
See you. See, now I'm not going to cut that cat off because he came in solid. Oh, the Scarab just nice. I look like, I am not a commercial for Old Spice. So again, thank you to the staff down here at Krabby's on the Pass. I've just been, there's so much shade to my left here. Of course, I started the show in the shade, but this out here, there's tiki huts everywhere, boats pulling in and out, all these tables with the umbrellas. I cannot wait for football season. All the TVs, the different floors, all the things you could do around here. Pretty much you own the Pass down here at Krabby's on the Pass, and then Buried Elite, some of the best food. If you come in, make sure you tell Amy you heard about her here on Cup of Ray. So next time I come, she'll give me one of them free Cokes again. Everybody have a great day. And you know how I end every one of these things before I get up to here? my wife's gonna kill me. That's so long. But we had, the funny thing was, I was trying like, do we do a show? It's like the third preseason, nobody cares, but Brady played, and the Bucs looked, and is it gonna be? But let's talk, and we had some great comments, and then we even talked about I'm still gonna get my ass kicked when I get home. Remember what I always say: everyone needs to know someone cares today. Seriously, be the one that lets them know. Let my wife know you care, or I'm gonna get killed. No, let them know you care. And don't forget, yesterday was Empty the Shelter Day. There's so many animals that are looking to enjoy that start of that football season. They come home, be your friend, sit up on the couch with you, be them dog or cat. So many animals there at the shelters that need a forever home, and you need a friend, or someone that does need a friend. And even if you have to help that friend out to take care of that friend, maybe it takes a little time to learn how to do it. Do it, because there's so many animals, and not so many, but there's so many animals in shelters that need that forever home. And really, at the end of the day, all you're doing is bringing warmth to your heart. Maybe I'll show my wife that part, but that's still not going to get my butt out of trouble. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on Cup of Ray.